G'day, citizens. Welcome to Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Astropub. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. It's the beginning of a 3-day weekend for me. So,
I wish I had days to kind of go to work. I'd be the opposite of you, but I just kind of sit home and do nothing.
yeah.
Yeah. It's been January is usually my least favorite month. It is very quiet. Yeah. And it's kind of similar in July and August, but now they've kind of stopped those with things to do. As of last year, so it's just January to get past, but they're already back. They're back at work, things to do, so kind of easier on my end anyway.
There's a lot of new stuff too, so a lot of new information. So.
Again, if those of you don't know what the episode title was about, everyone seems to think it was about Hangar returning. No, it's the Aurora. They added a Mark 1 Aurora gold pass back into the PTU. I thought we might jump in later, Paul, if you're interested, and we'll have a quick squiz. I did so yesterday, and there is some interesting things about it. I think when you look at it, and I don't just mean you, I mean just like overall everyone, you can kind of see why they're doing a Mark II. Like it's it's kind of like what I don't know if you know, but me and Algra did a re-review of it probably, I think it was around August, and then we re-reviewed it again because there was something wrong with the episode. But I know we released it towards the end of last year. And it was Algred's idea, by the way, not mine. That episode was all him. And he was bang on. Like, and when we went through the episode, there was just like all these things that became really obvious to the pair of us that where they ended up putting the modules, I was kind of really surprised. I would say, do the math here, almost half of them are in very awkward places. And I'm surprised what they were able to fit in there without really drastically changing the body of it. And when you kind of look at it, you kind of go, yeah. But I'll say that
it's a chassis not designed for the situation that it was built for, you know.
And the other thing is, the other thing I'd probably add is the majority of those components are the most important components. I think the only ones, when we go through it, I think the only ones that are probably not, like the shields are in a decent spot. Everything else is in a really awkward spot. And I'll go through and kind of show you what I looked at. But have you had a chance to look at it yourself? It's only been a day.
I haven't had a chance to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I figured. I know Tomo was on his stream last night having a look at it, so I know a few people are looking at it, and it became really obvious to me why they're doing it now. I think it's almost required after what I saw, and when you kind of go through and realize that, and it's like you said, it's a ship from a different time, and how do you fix that? You know,
you can't. I mean, that's been my argument for a lot of times. Everyone hates Mark IIs, but I think to a degree people hate Mark IIs because of it feels like anything that CIG could Mark II, they could just replace, like they did in the past.
Yeah.
So it seems like CIG is sort of doing like we want to like sell more, so we do that. But CIG has also said in the past that they were going to do versions, like they wanted to do multiple versions of the Aurora. That was like literally one of the examples they said, like in 2015 was they were going to do re-release ships in different styles, like cars are every so often. So
they said it about the Hornet as well. They already have. Is it a Mark 5 or 6 of the Connie? They're all Marks. Yeah. So yeah.
I really hope they keep with that naming convention. I know CIG's like, well, it could be confusing. It's like, it's not confusing. When you look at Elite Dangerous, they have like Mark 6s and 7s in ships, and people's first Elite game was Elite Dangerous. So like, come on, guys, it's okay.
And I'm not an illegal guy, but I think that's got something to do with it. I think it's got like when you've got to drastically change how a ship's visually appears. And because of that, people are not getting what they paid for. To avoid that legal entanglement, they just sell it as a Mark II. That's where I think it's going. I could be wrong, but that's the feeling I'm getting.
I have a feeling that you're probably right, but it's not necessarily a legal requirement. It's that CIG is covering its own ass. Is the idea?
Yeah.
I think what they've also said is that they only do a Mark II when the ship that they have right now functions. It works fine for the verse, so they don't really want to upgrade it. And so, but they still want to try something new because things have changed. Like I could expect like a Reclaimer could get a Mark II, if not a complete rework, because it technically works, but it's definitely built for a different game.
So I could be wrong with what I'm about to say here, but one thing I've noticed, right, I'll what do you call this? Group search this, so to speak. When I go to ships now on the pledge store, remember how for years it used to say subject to change?
Yeah.
Do you remember? I cannot find that verbiage anywhere anymore, right? It's just not there anymore. You get little things like this: pledges does not include starts into player game packages required, right? I've looked, and again, someone might be able to find it on an older ship or something like that, but I have not been able to find it. It's gone. They've just removed that verbiage. And I think that's what they're trying to move toward. They're moving towards this a legal requirement, because obviously that floats in some countries but not others. And you see this in other things around the world with other big tech companies. One country changes something, and it's easier just to change everything to suit the globalness, so to speak.
Yeah, to suit the one thing they need to change, rather than like having to build out a game for Star this district versus this district. Yeah.
Well, see. So Offset Studios in YouTube chat says, question: would there also be a Mustang Series Mark II? Well, I'll answer that one right now. Only if the outside of it changes, and that's kind of I think where we're at, right? And again, we'd also see we've had that argument about the Mustang before. We don't think it should have changed the first time because of it looked cooler and stuff back in the day, but I think it's already had that change personally. I think you're gonna when they talked about another Mark II coming. I think it's one of the older ones. That's I've talked with Bops about this. Agrid, I haven't talked with you about it. But again, you'd kind of sit there and look at say something like the Freelancer or the Connie, and knowing they've already done the Hornet, they've already done they're now doing the Aurora. Freelancer, Connie, 300i has already kind of been done back in the day, and Cutlass kind of got back in the day. So they're the oldest of the old. You assume it's Freelancer, Connie, yeah? It's kind of, where does your brain sit in that?
Same. I think we have to see a Connie and a Freelancer Mark II. Because the Connie may be a little bit weirder, because the Connie may be just a straight up rework. Because it's it doesn't have location, doesn't have stuff in it.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they could find a place to put the all of the components, then they'll make a Mark II. But I think the Freelancer, the Connie, I also think I would almost guarantee we're going to see an Avenger Mark II. I know Avenger's already on a Mark II, but that wasn't really a Mark II. It was just an upgrade of the version.
Yeah. But I'd also say, by the same mark, there are ships that are kind of missing in that lineup. There is no starter of Aegis. There's the Avenger that's an advanced starter, but there's no... And that's the other thing. Does the Mark II for the Aurora become the advanced starter for RSI? Because we don't have... We've got the Salvation, but that's a profession
starter.
Yeah. We don't have an advanced starter from RSI. So is that the plan? I don't know how to because that's going to dictate the price in a lot of ways. Do they put up the Aurora Mark II? Does the Aurora Mark II come in and the old one, because they've said the old one, they stopped selling the old Hornets apparently, right? But they went up by $50. Does that mean now that the new Aurora stays at the same price and the old one disappears? Or does it mean it goes up by $5, $10, $20? And as soon as you go up by $20, you're in Avenger territory.
It's the Aurora. I don't think it's going to... I think they'll just stop selling the old version, and they'll probably start selling it at $50. because it's going to be a little bit better. I guarantee you it'll be better than the Mustang, because the Mustang right now is good and it has a lot of advantages, but I think like a new Aurora could easily, if it's built right, could easily rival that of the Intrepid, but like a small Intrepid, you know.
Okay, last question I have for you, and feel free just to totally speak your mind here. I've got no idea how this is going to roll out when they do it, but I picked this up yesterday from my buyback. It was the only one of the really rare ones I hadn't brought back. I thought, stuff it, I'll buy it. They're doing a gold pass, whatever.
Oh yeah, South by Southwest.
Yeah, right. And I have the Operation Pitchfork, the UEE Navy Type 1, and the Dread Pirate one. Right, they're some of the rarest skins of the game, and they're all for the Aurora. Right. So I thought, stuff it. I'll pick this up. It's just $5 credit or whatever. So I just used some token and picked it up. Do you think they will pass on to the Mark II? That was my next question. Yes. I was like,
Yes, I think all of the skins will pass on to the Mark II. That's just what they've been doing.
Yeah,
they've been doing all of the regular skins pass on to the Mark II, and they just do that way. It's funny. I saw somebody being like, it would be suck to lose the Avenger because we need an old junker, so Mark III would be better. Yeah, almost certainly. But like, here's the thing. They're always going to sell new versions of the ships. CIG will always find a way to sell new versions of the ships.
They literally said that, didn't they?
Yeah.
That intended plan was literally, we'll go around and update them all, and you'll be able to get an upgrade to turn it into the newest version. And he actually described this using the Hornet, and he said, and over the lifetime of the game, this might have a couple of times. So we're going to see a Mark III Hornet and a Mark IV probably in the lifetime. Yeah.
And the way that it was described, in by them that I remember was they said like, oh yeah, we're going to do this is the 2945 Mustang or Aurora. Then we're going to do a 2948 Mustang or Aurora or 2956 Aurora. Like I wouldn't be surprised if CIG calls the new Aurora not the Mark II but the 2956 Aurora, because the original Aurora was the 2944 Aurora. So you think of it like the 2019 Honda Civic versus the 2026 Honda Civic. It's the just by years. Some companies do that, so I could see them doing that.
Okay,
so I definitely think
we've got a couple of first-time chatters, but one was a question, so we'll do that as a question. First-time chatter Knock Twice says, "I wonder when the Aurora turns as a starter package. Will it be the MR? Why was it not the ES?" Actually, in game right now, I believe it's the ES. That's the one they're testing, but I think it'll be all of them. Unless they can, that's for the Mark I. But maybe when they do the Mark II, they might drop off a couple of the versions and just make them modules or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Harbinger of Moisturization says, "The idea of a pirate Aurora is almost enough for me to want to own one." Lol. I can think of several people. Well, I think of Moist Noodle. You ever seen him go out in the Aurora? Absolutely smashes people in it. It's funny.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Noodle's so good in it. I love watching him. They're out in a massive heavy fighter. He's just
what was it? I've seen him do it with the Mustang too. Famously, why am I blanking on his name? I always call him Dr. Rocks. The problem. He's literally the head of CIG's feedback team, but he used to be a streamer. He would do the same thing. He was a PvP streamer, and he would use the Aurora and be absolutely deadly. He was one of the best combat players in the game back in the early days. Yeah,
it's good to see. All right, I'm at 6 or 7 questions in, guys. Got any questions? We might go into game, Paul, and we'll let some questions come in, and we'll do the Aurora stuff now. Unless there's anything else you can't. Oh, great! There's an update. Right? How can I update the game while I'm live? All right. See if this lags on it. Let me know. Probably going to start to lag real bad. I've got it because it's usually about 4.5 gig, so it's not exactly tiny. Let's see. What's it going to do? It's running the check thing. Let's see. Ooh, It's thinking about it. It is 5.7 gig. All right, so that's going to take a couple of minutes. And if I lag, I apologize. Yeah, we're going to go pretty much into robot mode for a minute. Apologies. The upload speed's the only shit thing about my internet. It's only like 25 up, but we are technically downloading, so it should be fine. But it's when, fine. Yeah, but you and me will start to go robot because it's going backwards and forwards between me and you. Yeah, we're already a gig down, so it shouldn't take too long. Anyway, is there any? There was another thing I had to talk about a second. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, here it is. We can talk about this a little bit. I thought you might find this interesting. It's a video that I watched with Trispone. He is actually making his own miniatures for Star Citizen.
Nice.
And then he actually talks about at the end. So he starts. So he's done like a little cutter. I don't want to play sound or still his video, but god damn it. I just wanted to highlight it because I just went, Paul am interested in this because he does miniatures. So he's made like his own little cutter. What do you call it? Diorama.
Are these miniatures or are these JRDFs?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, he made it himself. But
because JRDF does have a cutter, so that it looks awfully like the JRDF.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe he did. But then at the end,
but the diorama is unique, you know.
Yeah. But then at the end, he talked about these ones. I don't know if you've been approached by these guys, but we got approached. Grim's been approached, and Triss got approached. They approached all of us separately, but at the same time, because we're shit people, they wanted us to look at their miniatures. And they've made these ones are big, but they're almost like a toy. They're not really like a miniature.
I've seen it in person. They're pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, but they fully articulate. Like a model. Yeah, I saw them at CitizenCon as well, but I didn't know much about them. And then they approached us and said, we want to send you guys some to literally review and tell people what you think. And we said, well, we're not going to really do any sponsor stuff until we have them in our hands. And they said they were cool with that, so we're just going to wait. But Grim and Triss are already kind of pushing them, and that's their choice. I can't push something until I try it myself, you know. Like that. And we also got approached by other people. Pimax. They wanted to loan us a headset, and I'm still in talks with them about that. But I
got approached by Kick of all people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was funny because I don't even know if it's legitimate or not because you get so many spam. I'm sure you get them as well. You get so many like we love what you do at insert
name here. Yeah. But like realistically, the only thing we've ever reviewed was the Toby. I went out of my way and brought one of these recently. Let's see if I can pull this forward enough to put it on camera. No, I probably can't. I brought myself. That's the back of it. This is the Track IR. I'm gonna try that out because I tried contacting them for years and I couldn't get a hold of them. So I thought, well, I want to try one because everyone has said it's better. I talked to people like Moist Noodle and Bops and stuff like that. So I'm going to try that out, and I might even send it up to Algrid and get Algrid to try it out as well. Just see what you think. In my personal opinion, in this short time I've used it, I prefer it over the Toby. It's just a little more less laggy. But it is a lot more expensive. A couple $100 more.
Track IR is pretty well known. Yeah. I mean, it's the joke is that I don't need a Track IR because I've got this.
Yeah.
I've got a headset, so it works the same way.
That's kind of it, right? So you either go full hog into a headset, or if you don't want the headset, then I would recommend Track IR. But there's obviously going to be all these middle grounds for people. So with the VR coming into the game, it was something I did want to kind of look at just because I've already had people asking my opinion and stuff like that, and there's a lot of people like I talked with Piss Poor Pete extensively. He has a PC headset and he absolutely loves it. And he's got I think he's just got the Meta Quest, and he said it's really good. But he said it's not something that you can just explain. You kind of have to try it for yourself.
That's true.
So yeah, and the last time I tried an actual VR headset, because I'm pretty remote, was 2014. I'm pretty sure they've come a long way.
They've come a long way since then. Yeah.
Like I just remember being like a little screen in front of my eyes, and it was like so fly screen doory. And I was playing Alien Isolation for like 5 minutes, and it was like I saw where it was going, but I knew it wasn't ready yet. So I can only imagine how it's gone in over 10 years. It's what are we up to? Almost 12 years now. So yeah. All right, this is downloaded.
Someone in chat asked if this was the one that did the station. Yes, Pigeon Spaceport.
Yep,
is the Chinese company. Yeah.
But yeah, fully injected, molded. So then and they're, if you know how Star Wars X-Wing miniatures are done, where they're painted by the machines, that's how these are done. So I was like, okay, that could be really interesting. And with the talks I've had with the people from there, they have spent a great deal of money to do them. I've heard
it's plastic injection molding is very expensive. It's one of the reasons why JRDF went with 3D printing, because it's just cheaper to do.
So from what I was able to gather, the mold for this was over $200K.
Yeah,
that's insane. That's an investment. So you can see why they're only doing one, and they're not just doing a whole series of like 10 or 12 of them. They want to know if this is going to work, and then they're going to.
And I guarantee you, they did not just put that in. They didn't just pull the files from the game and put that in there. Because if you talk with Darge about it, they probably went in and had to touch up, just like Darge did, and retouch texture a lot of the thing to be able to get it to look good.
Yeah.
So,
but as I said, unlike being a miniature, you can pick up this thing and play with it, and it's like like it comes in a box folded up like it's landed, but it actually, everything articulates and comes out, and the wings can close and open and all that. So it's essentially a giant toy, which I thought was rather interesting. So that's a different way of doing a miniature. And you're gonna, or you're gonna be able to do all that stuff with it. So I thought that was kind of an interesting approach as well. But I'll kind of wait and see what happens there. All right, let's see if this is gonna play nice with me or not. Yes, it's playing nice. All right, good. All right, let's have a quick look. I'm going to have to go in to Lawville again. All right, I'll quickly load my character. I decided to make a male eventually. I called him Chuck. I thought that was the most American name I could think of at the time.
There we go.
Yeah, so this is my Chuck. Pirate, no. And we'll just go a little bit. Load in. Right. Have you done a history on the Aurora on your channel? Because you do a lot of stuff like that, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't done one yet because it's super. RSI is very weird. That it's unlike other manufacturers. It's all over the place. And I think it's because they haven't really decided a lot of the later story. Like they have the very beginning and they have the most recent, but like the middle between like the First Avaran War and the and the like. The end of the Messer era is very in the middle. Like we know that the Aurora was made in 2640, I want to say. Let me look it up real quickly. Then it's an evolution of the Cosmos Sloop, which was made by the guy who ended up making the Hurricane Case. I forgot his first name, but the guy who did Case Aerospace, the guy who would eventually inspire the Anvil series of ships. He made the Cosmos Sloop as like a simple, easy to use, sort of very beginner friendly ship, which was this Cosmos Sloop was like a RSI's version of the 300. It's sort of like a luxury starter craft or a luxury craft for the masses. We're talking like 200 years, 300 years ago, so it's a little bit more simple, a little bit more basic. But he really wanted to make it simplistic, so he created the Cosmos Sloop, and that became the blueprint for the Aurora. So.
I'm just curious of a conversation going in YouTube chat. Parker says he's talking about the hex codes and saying they're not good enough quality. I think that sounds a little bullshit. From what I can gather from the discussions I've heard of developers over the years, I don't think they don't want to do hex codes because they don't want people to have awful color combos. Yeah, I think they're too worried about how their ships are going to look.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. Is that they're afraid that they touch. Specifically map out the colors for them, so they don't want them to look ugly, which is a bullshit response in my opinion. It's like it's an MMO. You need to be able to. Am I roboting to you? Just
for a little bit. Then you went straight for a second.
It's bullshit. I don't like it. They should 100% be be using hex codes. They should let us color things. Let people be clowns. All right, CIG, that's fine. People want to do that. People do that anyways. So.
Hang on a minute. Why did it? Hang on. Oh, it was already. They were already here.
You have to. There you go.
I want to put a skin on it. So these are the ones that they had available. So they don't have all the skins available. Let's try Crusader. I had some weird bug spawn in this yesterday. It was nuts. They getting some sound issues as well. I don't know if you're hearing that.
No.
Yeah. Like so it spawned yesterday, and then we had it appear at the top of the floor, and then it fell through the floor, then it bounced up to under the floor, then fell down again, and then it spawned up and then popped through the floor. It was so weird. Right. And there were people watching me when I did it, and they were like, what the hell happened there? And I was just like, it was so random. All right, let's turn shut off for a second. All right, did we spawn? I think we did. Right, cool. Yeah, so this was not an I don't think this was an MR yesterday. I think this was an ES yesterday, and now it's an MR. So it's changed again. But if this is an MR, wouldn't it have more guns? Where are the extra guns? Am I mistaken?
There's only 2 guns on it. Mars only has 2 guns.
I'm thinking of the LN. I'm thinking of the LN.
The LN has 4, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so these are so like me and Agrid suggested, something would be here, and that's kind of what's happened. So this is the first one we found. So it slides out, and you currently have a cooler, and I think this is going to end up being a battery.
Yeah,
on the other side, it's a cooler and life support in exactly the same spot. And then, as I said, the shields are here. That's the only one of them that are in a good spot, in my personal opinion. Then I later found these, and this is what I believe to be the radar and the fuses.
Yeah, it's the fuses. I think it's probably the radar. Yeah.
Yep. And then I found these, and these are so this is like your weapons. So this is like your sidearm, your sidearm, and some kind of gadget or whatever. And then this is like an SMG on this side from memory. Right. And then, or whatever that's gonna be. And then I was walking around for ages, and I happened to stand just here and notice this.
The hell?
Yep. Yep. And then I went, how the hell am I gonna get on top of this thing? And then I remembered you can just do this, and you turn it on. Mind you, we're doing about like an hour here to go over all this. It took a while to find them all. Where is it? Open exterior, and it opens it on the roof, and all the main components are on the back on the top of the roof.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that is how you get access to those components in
a lot of yeah, but you can
and the Gladius.
Yeah, but you can still get on the back. Like there's a way to jump up the wing and stuff. So the only and one of the other ones recently where they did that, they added an elevator, so you could jump up. So I was almost thinking they need a little ladder or something here so you can climb up on there. Because if you're in the middle of nowhere, how the hell are you going to repair yourself? It's impossible. If I can't get on the back of my ship, how can I repair myself? So this thing needs like a little ladder or something. And my first thought was, well, if they just let you just stand on this ramp and pull yourself up onto there, which is a possibility because we've got that grab tech now, that would be fine. So that's something I think they're going to have to add. But other than that, it flies pretty well. They've done some other little things, like they changed this to be shock limiters. So it's still got the same look, but you can tell that they've made changes to it. If you get into the bed, I don't want to get into it because it takes too long, but the windows are still there. Like you can actually, I know, yeah, you can kind of slightly see out them there. The storage is still here. I honestly thought they'd have some components here, but they don't. Yeah. But yeah, this is definitely running worse than yesterday. Whatever they've done in this build, it is not running as well as it was yesterday. But yeah, that's kind of everything I found. But now you kind of look at that back area, they've made some serious compromises to pull it off. I think they've done pretty well considering the age of the ship. Yeah. But I can see why it needs to change, because like if it works though, like you could, if they can make it so you can jump and grab ledge pull up, I don't really have a problem with how it is, because that's the only problem at the moment is how do you get to those components that are on the roof, so to speak. Can you see why they're moving towards a Mark II? Like I think it's warranted.
Mm-hmm. No, it's clearly like, at least with the Mustang was built in a way where it was built when metrics was a thing, so it was a little bit easier to build. I think it still has component access. I don't know exactly where. Yeah. Oh yeah, but it makes sense.
Fuel intake too. Also, it doesn't play an animation to go in here anymore. This is just a ramp now, and they did add it. It hasn't
been an animation for 2 years.
Yeah, and they added the fire extinguisher. That was the only other thing. Yeah. So it's kind of fully equipped now. Kind of got all the stuff. It's just that it's a starter too. Like that's the other thing. So like you got to rein it in a little bit.
It should be easy to work on. It's a starter. Yeah. It should be easy to work on. That's why I think they'll just not sell the Aurora Mark, whatever this is, and do the 2940 the 2944 Aurora is going to be replaced with the 2956. So, and that's just going to be like, if you already have the original Aurora, you'll have this. But if you have the new Aurora, so like the new ships, the new players coming in will get the newer ship. And they haven't sold the old Auroras as sort of the starter packages for over a year. So,
well, I believe they've added some new thrusters. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it just seemed different to me. I'll get in it for a second. Like I noticed the one in the middle at the back. It had this kind of double firing rotatory thruster in the middle, and I don't remember that. I could be wrong, but you can feel free to weigh in and crucify.
Do they actually add VTOL fans?
Yeah, the VTOL fans. So you can now press K. Or make a low out of me. Turn thrusters on. There you go. So they.
Oh wow, they actually work.
And they work, and you can just open and close those with K. But you'll notice this middle. See that one there in the middle? That kind of waves side to side. I don't remember that at all. No, I could be completely mistaken.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. Yeah, like a wiggle. Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like a really updated model. Again, like when you put the landing gear up and you notice the landing gear up, that's a shock absorber now. It doesn't have that same arm, so it has had some serious remodeling. Obviously I left the weapon things open. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
You should close alt base.
No, it doesn't work.
Oh, that doesn't work?
No, it doesn't. It only opens and closes certain things. It's really strange. But I'd be interested to see I can see how this will carry over to, all the other variants like the LN and ES and CL and all that type of thing. And they are for sale right now on the store. Which I think is in preparation of this thing dropping. So I'm almost half expecting this and the Hermes as to come in this patch. That might be why we're getting
double Aurora drop or a double RSI drop. Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting. And then I think the reason why they're selling this here is then before Invictus they bring in the Mark II.
Oh, yeah. I think Invictus is.
Yeah.
I think Invictus is the Mark II. That's the tiny ship they'll bring in as the Mark II or the 2956.
I'll take that and raise you that it's not military, and then I'll also say the Golem last year came out right before Invictus, literally the month before. So I will say I wouldn't be surprised if I saw it in Invictus, but I also wouldn't be surprised if I saw it just before. Because they want to follow that military law thing. They make up the rules as they go along and then change the rules.
To a degree. because like the Ironclad was also introduced at Invictus and will probably be released at Invictus, and it's not really military, it's civilian, but it's also technically different because of Defense Con.
And then
that's the reason why they'll bring back Defense Con this year, is because of the Ironclad.
And you've got the Raelian sitting there as well. That's probably going to come at Alien Week. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
At least in July or in June when Alien Week happens, it'll be with it. So
I think anyone that's been here, can sit and look at the Aurora and say, I think as a starter goes, it kind of makes sense. The only thing I haven't tested is the cargo, but the cargo was working before, so I've got no reason to think that that's not working now. But you put it next to say something like a cutter, it don't cut it. It really don't. So how would you, now you kind of look at this and look at a cutter? You see what I mean? Like how internalized does that become? Like, do you add all like a room right through the back, and it's got the bed and the kitchen and all that? And how does the cargo attach to it? You see where I'm going, right? Like, that's a pretty extensive rework. If they Mark II this thing, that's a step up. That really is a step up.
I think they turn it into a wedge. I think they do the same thing they've been doing with all of the civilian RSI ships. And at the best it gets the Apollo treatment, and at worst it gets the Galaxy treatment. So it'll end up becoming a Dorito, which will be nice. I mean, it's a very classic design for a space game, and space in general is to have that sort of triangle. It's the Sidewinder is a triangle. It's a flying triangle. That's the Elite Dangerous starter ship, and there's plenty of other triangle vehicles, which are the starter stuff for their ships. So that makes sense.
So a couple of people pointed out in chat, their point is correct, but their prices are a little wrong. A couple of people, they're saying it's $20. I think it was 25 that once.
Yeah, it's 25.
Christmas holiday pack that was 25 that actually came with the game as well, but separately I think it's 25 now. That's another way they could. I never even thought of that, because the cutter on its own's 45, but the Aurora at the moment is 45 with the game. So do they make it like 50 with the game, or do they make it? You see where I'm going? They could essentially make the Mark II the same price, but you don't get the game.
I think it's $50 or it's like $45 and you get the game package for $50. I think it becomes. I think both the Mustang and the Aurora will go up to $50. Here's the fact, and I know everyone hates it when you say this because no one likes price increases, but CIG said from the very beginning that they were going to increase the prices of all of the ships over time. So
that's correct.
Buy it early. Like, there are people in chat right now, and people who are listening to this and watching this after the fact, who will tell you that they got the game with an Aurora for $20.
Yep.
So with an Aurora MR for $20.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I can't argue that. All right, so there's one more RSI ship I want to show you. Can you guess what it would be?
The Apollo.
No. I'll give you one more guess. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get it wrong, but that's why I'm asking.
Get it wrong.
You want to have one more guess? No. All right, that's okay.
What is it?
No, I'll show you. And it's not going to be. I don't know. You might go, oh, I know what it is now. It's this one.
The Polaris. Did they update the Polaris?
They did, and that's why I want to show it to you. It is really, really good now. Really, really good. I think everything that was in the Perseus and just copy it straight over.
No, nice.
Where the hell did that not deliver?
Swing wings for the win. I think the Dragonfly wings for the Aurora would be a good idea. Just taking the Scorpius wings and putting them on the Aurora would look really cool.
Yeah, I think
it also fit with the Dune inspirations for a lot of stuff. So
well, yeah, they saw how much the meme worked, but it's the same thing though. If they make the ship a wedge, like you're saying, and I don't think that's out of the cards, right? I think you could be right on the money there.
A mini Zeus.
The wings, like that, go out the window, then, don't they?
Yeah,
they're gone. You know, that idea is killed. But I'm going to be honest. I also like how the Aurora isn't a wedge. Like and it is kind of that older ship design, almost like the Connie. So in a way, I don't want it to be a wedge because the wedge thing is kind of like being a bit done. Like we've also got the Galaxy to go.
Yeah, I'd like to see 3 different styles, which is industrial.
Yes.
RSI, which is wedge.
Yep.
Civilian RSI, which is Connie, because you have like the Aurora, which is a Connie. You have the Apollo, which is a Connie. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like just the Connie bubble cockpit, long torso engines. You know, the Utopia Planitia style. The to a degree the what is it called? The Mantis and the what's the other one? The Meteor. They're both Connies.
I actually think it needs to be the most varied of all of them in the game, and I actually think there's room for 4, believe it or not. I think there's military, civilian, industrial, and then when I say that, I also think you've got a time span. So I think you can also make it so that there is
new and old.
Yeah, new and old of all of those. So for example, the Aurora and the Connie are civilian, but then again, you look at the Salvation and the Arastra and the Orion, they're clearly industrial. And then you look at things like the Bengal and the Perseus, they're military, you know what I mean? But then again, you've got that cross-reference of time where the Bengal is clearly earlier, but the Perseus is clearly latter. So you've got that Dorito is latter. And if they make a Mark II, then I have to assume you are correct and it's going to be wedge. I just have to.
The other thing is, chat's putting this up too, that it should also still look like the Aurora.
Yeah, and that's...
I get all fuzzy.
Yeah, but how long ago did they update it? Is it like you said? Is it a this year Aurora, or did it come out like 500 years ago, and the original Aurora came right up start? See, that's the other part of it. They, you know.
Well, we know that the original, like the Aurora's gone through updates according to lore, but CIG has been willing to throw that lore out the window in the past. So
absolutely,
it's, you know, so so it's a question of like if CIG even reads its own lore. Hint, they don't.
Well, that's what I meant about making their own rules and then tossing their own rules out, because they don't follow their own rules at all.
It's one of the reasons why whenever people get like why doesn't CIG have an answer for this? It's because John Crew could wake up tomorrow, or you know, marketing could wake up tomorrow and be like, that's stupid, let's do this, and they just don't have any powers. They have to do it. But well, it'll be interesting. I think that they, from a design standpoint, being an artist, you can probably back me up on this one, or at least can see my perspective. You want your average viewer to see the Aurora version 1 and Aurora version 2, and to go, oh, that's an Aurora. Just like you can see a Honda Civic from 1998 versus a Honda Civic from today. You look at it like, that's a Honda Civic. Like, you could generally get the vibes. The Mustang from today is still similar to the fastback Mustangs or the Mustangs of the 80s and 70s and 80s. Like, they're similar enough that you can kind of tell the evolution from them. So it should be the same thing, kind of like the Mark II Hornet is with the Mark I Hornet, but just better, like smoother, more more you know.
All right.
I could see like learning from the Zeus and from the Perseus and those kind of things. So we might see a little bit of a wedge, but it might just be a pointed tip rather than like the bubble cockpit, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So you should be able to tell already just from stepping out of the elevator. Can you see any changes?
Yeah, there's a lot more signage and like markings.
Yep. So every door is now labeled.
They've got those hazard stripes around the doors now.
Yep. They've got some lines on the floors too. So again, this one, I think this is, it's not on this side, but this is on the other side. But the one that really stood out to me is when you go into things like the hangar now. So like they've now got some.
Oh wow, they got the yellow hazard stripes on there now.
Yeah. So they've got multiple colors now. I even think the lighting's changed a little bit. I could be wrong, but it just feels different. The hangar's probably the most noticeable one, because they've actually got all 4 of these doors labeled. So it now says starboard,
port, stern, and aft.
And this one says bow.
Yeah.
But it had this weird bug yesterday. I want to see if that bug's still there. Nope. Yes, it is.
So yeah, it literally goes up.
Yeah, it literally goes up.
The texture isn't disappearing when it's supposed to. Is the
yeah,
issue.
it's so they'll fix that, I'm sure. But yeah, it's really improved.
Yeah, you see that there's a lot more color into this. One of the things that I remember from my experience on the Hornet when I used to go on the Hornet was that often they had like these lines all over the deck, which would send you to different locations and tell you where you are. And they're copying that here, where you have like the different lines represent port and starboard, so you just know which direction you go to.
I forgot to show you the coolest thing. I haven't actually found this yet, so I am doing this on the fly, but I know it exists. Okay, I'm gonna have to look for something. Where would I put it? I have no idea where I put it.
Chat saying they'll fix that 3 years later. Yeah, you're probably right. Let's be honest. You're probably right.
Where would I put that? An elevator? That's an elevator. This bit. Nope, that's a fire extinguisher. Shit. I don't know where it is, but I'm going to tell you what it is. There is a holographic basketball court in here, like that's on the Perseus.
Oh, just like the Perseus? Is that here?
Yeah.
Or is it in the cargo bay?
Oh, that's a good point. Is it in the cargo bay? I thought it was in here.
Because the Perseus is the ones in the cargo bay. So
you could be right. Let's have a look.
It's in the cargo, is what chat's saying.
Right.
Hey, Womblissimo. Or Shapasa, thank you for gifting that sub to Womblissimo.
Yeah, thank you, Shim. Never required, but always appreciated.
I'm not dancing.
Say. Yeah. The old man was actually meant to be back, by the way. Paul's filling in because he had to take another couple more days off entertaining.
That's why we're a little bit late today, Chad, is because I had literally got home from school like an hour ago. It's like when we started like about 45 minutes ago, I had just gotten home.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
There's gonna be a button somewhere. There's right there. It's right behind you. It's right there. It's right there. Look up.
Oh, it is.
That's the court.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's the button to turn it on then?
That's the question. It looked like a button of like lighting.
Well, that's
the right there.
Will that do it? That would just change the
auxiliary lighting.
Yeah, that's just the normal lighting. That's Someone
in chat will say.
Yeah, someone in chat will say. Right.
It's where the basketball. We're in the basketball area. It's just where's the button?
We can see the ring, but we can't see the.
It's between the pillars on the right side of the backboard. That's what they're saying.
Between the pillars on the right side, that would be over here.
There's the basketball, so it must be there.
Open.
And can you actually pick up the basketballs?
Hey! Oh, you can too.
Ooh. Hey! Let's see if you can do it.
I can't bounce. I can't bounce. Shit.
Can't dribble. Yeah.
All right, let's try. Whoa! That's some interesting.
The ball bounces.
That's some interesting physics. Holy crap! Right, so I aimed higher, so I aim lower. Wow, that's way higher. And I don't think anyone's ever gonna get this in.
Percy did not come with basketballs, no.
And then it goes lower for some reason. Yeah, it just seems to be completely and there it's gone. It's gone forever.
Yeah.
All right, that was interesting. Okay, so in time, I'm sure that'll be better. An access point. All right, they only give you 3 balls, but it'd be cool if there was I guess we'll be able to craft them eventually. But
we'll craft them. You want to talk a little bit about crafting?
Yeah, we can do that.
Because it is confirmed that they're doing a PTU, an Evocati PTU for crafting. Right now-ish, they're in the process of approving it.
I was told it was next week. Is what I heard.
Yeah, but they're working on it. It's like Monday, I think they're planning on getting it done, or Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's Tuesday, I think. Yeah,
which kind of surprised me because this, other than the kind of slight bugginess that I'm hearing today, Could you go back to the
medical? Because Luna does have a question about that. It does make sense. I've heard a lot of people complain about the medical area. Did they make it look better? Because it looked very barren. No, pool table isn't working yet, chat, unfortunately.
Apparently they did do something to update it though, so we should have a look at that. Someone told me something about it.
That looks a little better.
Got some white and green
to it.
Yeah, there's more color, better lighting. Like the beds are more better lit. Yeah, I'll pay that. That's what the hell's going on there? Holy shit! Multi-door.
I think that's supposed to be like a scrub station, so maybe like a
oh yeah, blows air on you or something when you go in. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Or like a negative pressure area, because a lot of places like have that, like they want to keep the pressure down, so like they blow like suck or blow air through, so they can keep the pressure difference.
Grim was telling me the camera this has got different lighting in here too. This has been updated, you can tell. Grim was saying that the captain's quarter camera now works to the brig, so you can see the people in the brig now. Huh? Yeah, this much the same. Much the same.
Mostly changed a little bit. I think they added a little bit more greebles in there. It looks like they'll add more details, more decals.
Some more like clearly
the hazard striping is the issue. I don't think they had that much hazard striping in there.
Yeah. It also there's a bit of better lighting. It's similar to what they did to the other side. What was I going to check? Oh, the table. Apparently the table in here is changed. Yeah. Oh, those weren't there before.
Lighting.
Yeah, but they didn't have those lines. This is the way you march.
Remind me of? Yeah, this is the similar ones on the Javelin when we saw the Javelin in Squadron. I think they just copied a little bit of those lines.
So, from memory, there were 2 tables here. There was not a pool table.
Yeah, there might have been 2 tables. Yeah, they added a pool table.
So they've added the pool table. I still want the one from the original concept where they fold down. I want it to like fold down, and then this could have been the basketball court area or whatever. But they've definitely.
And they've got a chessboard too.
White Queen. Yeah. Maybe.
Neat.
Maybe. Hey, look, it comes with cup holders now.
I know.
All right, we'll check out the captain's quarters. I think that's the last one I can think of. Up third. Or was it this one?
Clearly, this is oh gosh, Paul, not Paul Jones. What's his name?
Oh, so you can see the person outside the door now.
Yeah. You can open it remotely.
Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. Oh, it's not what I expected. I was expecting the brig, but okay. That's still pretty cool. You can still people coming in and out. What did he used to say, Picard used to say? Was it like enter or something like that?
Enter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come.
Come. Yeah, come. Yes.
Yeah.
Come. very don't come. I'm
very funny these days.
Yeah. All right, let's have a quick look in here and see if they changed anything.
They haven't added the hollow globe yet, but that's going to be there too. That's where it was scanning and all the other things.
A couple of little lights that I don't remember being there, but maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
4.6 is apparently an open PTU. That may be the reason why the performance is so dog shit right now.
Mm-hmm. It's not as good as yesterday, but like it could also be because I'm streaming. But generally, I don't have a problem when I'm streaming. One. All right, I'll just quickly get out of this and then what did you want to? Was the other thing you wanted to look at, or nothing? You wanted to do?
No, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the crafting. That's all I wanted.
Oh, that's right, the crafting. Sorry, my bad. All right, well, you start doing that. I'm just gonna store this and log out.
Well, I was going to say, I do want to hear chat's opinion on this one too, but the fact that we're doing crafting is coming out into Evocati testing in a similar way that engineering came out into Evocati testing at the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw crafting in February or March.
I also, the really interesting one for me, and I'll put it this way, you can tell when things are being done in the background because the current thing doesn't work so well. Like it's, almost in progress. And there's 2 that I've noticed, right? The inventory is having some serious issues of late, and that's on the roadmap. Yeah. The other one I've been having some serious issues with when I went out to do the mining quests in the PTU was scanning. And I was like, I wonder. Because I was having some massive issues trying to get scanning to work properly on some of the rocks. And those new mining quests, I took John out, right? Because I wanted John's opinion. I wanted to make sure I wasn't a crazy person because I felt like a crazy person, right?
John Citizen, you're
saying,
right?
John Citizen.
Not John Crew.
He may be he may be around, but I think it's like 1 a.m. for him right now, but he may be around. Hang on, I'll reach out. He can come talk for himself. This is around. Hang on, let me. Are you awake? Wait. No, he's offline. Are you awake? We could talk with you on stream if you are. Right. Let's see what he says. He'll probably tell me to piss off. He's in sleep. But yeah. Long story short. Hang on. Let me just get out of this game. Come on. Call the ship. Come on. There we go. Right. And now I gotta wait for it to get out of the game. Right. What we did was they're essentially making starting missions for noobs, right? That's how I approach this. If you are doing mining missions that is a hand mining mission, would you assume that that's for a noob? And I've completely lost you on video, Paul. Why has that happened?
I know. I'm just blowing my nose, so chat doesn't see me. Like,
okay, I thought I'd just let the whole computer crash or something there for a second.
No, I'm good.
But would you agree with me that if you're doing hand mining missions, that's for a noob, right?
It's definitely for a noob, yeah.
Okay, so then the second mission after that would also be for a noob, right? So they go from hand mining, and then once you do one hand mining mission, it unlocks the first ship mission. All right, so I'm going to use those first 2 missions, and CIG, take this as feedback. Don't take it as feedback, do whatever you want with it, right? But I thought it was in a really bad place, and I'll tell you why. So the first hand mine mission, they fixed the first thing. The first thing was it was saying deliver, but it turns out you need to go to the target area, and there is a cave around where you've got to deliver it, right? So they fixed that in the first day. So I was like, okay, cool. After the first day, they've learned the mistake, listened to our feedback, and fixed it. Then you go into the cave, right? So you scan the area and there is a cave right near where you need to go. Now, the first day, it was an acidic cave. The second day, it was more like a glowworm cave, right? But both days that I did it, in the entire cave on the second day, on the first day, I found, you've got to find 3 rocks. You're going to find a fluorite, hadonite, and dolvine in 1, 2, or 3 rocks, right? So you break 1 rock, you usually get like 10 rocks. So you've only really got to find 3 rocks, right? So the first day I found fluorite and hadonite, so the blue rock and the kind of yellow rock. And then on the second day, I only found a fluorite. And I was like, So you're expecting a noob to go into a cave, and then you're telling them it's there in the local cave, but the rocks are not all in the cave.
Wow.
Right? And so I then went outside, and I started scanning around, and I found the dolvine. But on the second day, we could not find the dolvine or hadonite anywhere. And that was with 2 of us, right? Then when it does finally unlock the next mission, right, it gets worse, right? So you would assume, being a starter mission, you would be able to do this with a golem. Yep. No. You would have to go much further away to find a rock. But the series of rocks that we found around the area, because in the description it says around the area, look for rocks just around the local area, right? And the rocks we found were so large that they were even impossible for a prospector. And the only way we got it to work was to use the Sabir, the thing where you put it onto the rock. And then I had to use a Stampede, and I had to upgrade the laser to a Hofstadter on a prospector to pull it off, right? And then the second time John came with me, I did it again on my own the same way, but then we found another rock where both of us together was just able to pull it off. So again, if you're talking about in the local area, like it literally says in the local area, you need to have rocks there that a golem can crack. So They're the two things that I'd work on. So again, they're probably just teething or data issues. They can say, oh, just in the local area, the rocks need to be a little lower, right? So maybe it is,
especially for noobs, they probably just need to instance some of those areas.
It needs to be
guaranteed low area.
Yeah, it needs to be right in there. Like if I scan them and I'm at the landing zone where it says deliver or be in this area, it needs to be in that area. They're not going to travel 20 Ks away. They're going to look at that rock and go, why is this impossible? And I had to deploy everything I knew about mining to pull it off. And that's why I went and grabbed John. I said, John, have I got rocks in my head here? And he went through it and said, no, this is way too difficult. This is way too difficult. So I'm pretty sure they're aware of it, right? And so maybe it's a teething issue. But I'd recommend you guys to get in the PTO and check it yourself and give feedback as well. Because again, I get a feeling it's one of those working on the game things and not putting yourself in other shoes thing. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm completely off. And I am wrong.
It's a stick into the game, wait till beta kind of thing, I think. So
yeah, so I'm hoping I'm wrong. But again, we've seen this with other missions where they take like 12 months to kind of fix. So I'm thinking maybe 12 months from now we'll have some really good noob missions. You know, I haven't had the same chance to go out and try the salvation, but knowing how salvage works, I don't think you'd have that problem. There isn't that kind of barrier of, you know how the rocks have different scales? You don't really have different scales.
There's no scales.
Yeah, exactly.
With salvage, yeah.
So I don't think it's going to have the same. Well, again, maybe it's an oversight. So we'll see. So yeah, again, you know, has anyone else in chat tried those mining missions? And the other thing that Eva Cardi was going on about, while I'm thinking of it, was you need to do 100 missions for the next event. And they wouldn't lower the number so we could test stage 2 and 3. And nobody wanted to do them because you have to do 25 missions and then they were sitting it every day. So you have to do 100 missions to get to the end of the quest chain. And we were just like, can you lower it to like 1 for each so we can actually test it? They didn't. And we're all like, guys, come on, how can we test this? No one's going to do 25 missions in a day just for you to reset it the next day. Like, are you insane? So yeah, it was just kind of crazy. So they do kind of need to make the missions in 2 states, like a test state and a playable state. I think that needs to be something going forward. It's something that I'd probably implement, like a tick where you can just go, this is a test one, so it just changes all the missions to be test based. You know, again, it's just an oversight, and it's not something that they've obviously planned. But yeah, I think you'd agree with me. Like I'm not trying to sit here and bitch. I'm just like.
No, I understand it entirely, and especially, I'm glad. I'm glad they have mining missions in. Yeah, because they said they were going to do that like ages ago, and they just didn't. So I'm glad it finally is in there. So I'm gonna have to step away for 2 seconds to get some water and get some medicine because my nose is currently stuffed up. I'll be right back.
No worries. I'll do a question. I'll do a quick.
Entertain, execute.
I'll be right back. It's monkey. Right. Citizen Ninja says, which 2 or 3 ships do you think should get the Red Fest paints coming in the next week or so? Oh, that's the Chinese New Year. Ooh. Tough one. They've done a lot of the original starters, so they'll probably do an Aurora. I know they haven't done that. They did the Freelancer, did the Connie. I don't remember the Aurora, as I said. They haven't done the Cutlasses. Yeah, so mainly those starting 5 would be kind of where I'd be at as well. But yeah, I don't know, that's a tough one. Like, how do you pick any ship gets a skin? You know, it's just what they feel like at the time. I feel like they really ride by the seat of their pants on a lot of this stuff. So yeah. Actually, they did have some skins come out as a leak, actually, for the event. Right, John doesn't want to come on. Apparently he's scared. We all scared him away. Doesn't take much. Interesting. Okay, so it looks like there's going to be... okay, that's interesting. There might be multiple skins for the event from what I'm seeing here, but take this all with a grain of salt. So I'll just open this I'm trying to deduce what's going on here. You can do it live with me. So if I take this over while we wait for Paul to get back. So these are the 5 skins that they have at the moment. And this is for the clean air. So you can see there's an Asgard, a Mole, an Apollo, Paladin, and Perseus. So I'm just talking about the skins pool for the clean air event. And there's 5 there, but then they dropped this one today, which is called the Apollo Alliance Aid Red and Gold livery. So that's very similar to the last one. So I actually think there might be 2 skins with slightly different accents, depending on which side you go on. I could be wrong here, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I can see those being pretty popular. Being able to get a red skin for your Apollo.
Oh yeah,
makes sense to me. The 2 camo skins for the Paladin and the Perseus, they're a no-brainer. People falling over themselves to find that. The Asgard one, I don't know. Bluey green doesn't really kind of speak to a lot.
Ashara is right. That's not a mole. That's a raft.
A raft. It's a raft. Sorry, it's a raft. Sorry, I do mix them up. You are right. It is a raft. Being a
they're
cargo,
based off the same chassis-ish kind of thing. So like all the Argo ships are very similar. Kind of like the Valkyrie, the Asgard, and the Paladin. You know, you can see the shapes there. So
yeah, as soon as he said it, and it also says on the image. I just can't. I need to learn to read. He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. Right. So yeah, I do find those interesting. Clearly cargo, combat, and medical. That's kind of what you're looking at there, right? So the green ones are for cargo, camos for fighting, and thingo. So apparently what it is at the moment, again, no one's really tested this because nobody wants to do 25 plus missions, is you have to do 25 of cargo, 25 of military or the combat, and then 50 combined.
Yep. That's a lot of missions.
That's 100 missions in 2 months. That is literally ridiculous. I think what you're probably going to get, you correct me if I'm wrong, but the way my brain goes is it's 25 cargo for the first 2, 25 for the bottom 2, and then maybe the other 50 gets you the other one. So I'm hoping it's only 50 missions combined. You know what I mean? So you do 25 one, 25 the others, and if you've done both, you get the red one. I'm hoping it's 50 and not 100. But people are throwing the number 100 around.
People are saying that it's a strange ship group, in my opinion. No, not at all. The Paladin is super popular for group combat, and so is the Percy.
Yep.
So those make a lot of sense. And the Asgard and the Raft are the most used cargo ships in the game. Like, just hands down, they're the most used cargo ships. That's
a really good point that Aiden brings up. The Hermes is a cargo ship.
Yes.
And that is a really good point.
That could be a dual use skin for Hermes and Apollo.
Well, that's the other thing. What if it's the other way, Paul? What if that is the Apollo Medivac and that is the Hermes? Or vice versa? Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That's a really good point, Aiden. Thank you for pointing that out. I had kind of just brain farted on that. But that all of a sudden makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? To have a cargo event with a cargo ship coming.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some people that can go out there in their single feet fighters too, pull off those cargo missions as well.
Oh yeah.
I'll probably be out in a Paladin doing it, to be honest, and I'll probably take a couple people with me. Yeah, I think it'll be fun to go out there. Like, I want to see more group missions, to be honest. That was the other thing about the intro mining mission, the hand mining one, and the ship one. Share. It's almost like I can teach someone again. so that was great to see as well. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to show these because this is the event that's coming up, and I think, I don't know, I enjoyed a lot of the events last year. I think the biggest disappointment for me is all that work we put in, and now they're talking about a wipe, which is, a double-edged sword,
Where are they
isn't
talking
it?
about a wipe? That's my question. Because like I haven't seen anywhere where they're talking about a wipe.
I've heard people saying, like, show me where they said they're talking about a wipe. But I remember them saying that they were going to do a wipe, and I also remember people saying that they meant to do it in 4.5, but they knew it was going to piss everyone off, and they didn't need to do it yet, so they were going to delay it to a future patch. Well, the future patch would have to be 4.6, surely. So
I think what you're referencing, there was a comment because someone said, why don't you just wipe everything? And so there was one of the designers commented saying, we do not want to do a wipe until we have a handle on the duping. And once we have a handle on the duping and the currency glitches, we'll wipe, but we want to figure out what those are before we start implementing new features for the economy. So
John Citizen's getting told off in Twitch chat. Oh, there he is. He is here. Hey, John, how you doing? John, unmute yourself, you old fart. There he is.
Okay, I can do that. Just for you, but not for long, because it's getting late here.
What time is it for you? I did say it was late.
It's only 12:30. It's not that bad.
Oh, you're a spring chicken. You'll be fine. I was just telling people about those missions that you and I went in and did, and I wanted you to kind of say in your own words what you felt like the frustrations we're having. Like they seem to be a lot higher up than they were meant to be for a new person. Well, that's how I saw it, but I'd love to hear your 2 cents as well. So the hand mining one and the ship one, because you and I kind of did them at the same time. But
yeah, well, the hand mining one, I can't really make a comment about it, except yes, it's good that they brought in mining missions, but it wasn't working very well the other night for me. Your multi-tool was working, but mine wasn't. It would switch on, but it wouldn't read anything, and I couldn't see what level it was at.
Tell everyone the best part of what happened in the cave that made my day. It made the whole mission worth it. What was the best part of the mission? What happened, John? What happened to you?
Basically, we were looking for some more rocks because we could only find, what was it we found? The blue ones.
We found the blue one. We couldn't find the green or the yellow. Yeah.
So I'm going through these other passageways. I'm stood not near the edge, looking down to see if there's anything down there where we could jump to without dying. And then I ended up falling, and I wasn't even moving and died. And somebody was most amused over that, even though he's drinking tea at the moment or whatever it is.
Can you now imagine that as a new player? How did I die? Why can I even die in this cave? It's just an introduction mission. So that's another thing to add to the list. Like it's got to be caves that they can't die in, you know.
But
so
no, not necessarily. Well, no, I've got to disagree there. Yes, you can die in any cave, but I don't think those caves were fully formed.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is I think for an intro mission, you're trying to make the gate a learning experience, right? And yeah, you're going to learn through losing all your rocks, but God, that's going to be infuriating. You know, so how do you teach people about death? Or you have another mission that's about death or something like that. But yeah, I just found it really, like, can you imagine you'd spend an hour trying to find, and all you found was the blue rocks, and then you fall down and die, and then you lose all your blue rocks, and so you're back to square one. Like that's the type of shit that would make me flip the keyboard and never come back. So they're going to level that for.
I had to agree with you. It did seem, for a starting mission, they did seem quite difficult for somebody who'd never done any mine or just done a little bit of mining and said, oh, let's try, there's a mining mission, let's go and try that. And they would be a bit upset with how difficult it could be.
And maybe the way they could make it a little easier is that if you are at the cave, there's a respawn point at the entrance to the cave or something like that. So if you do die, you get your gems back, but it teaches you about the death. So maybe some of the intro missions just need a little bit of a gating. Again, can't pull the horse issues, but I don't know. They're going to make them as hard or as easy as they want to make them. But to me, I could just see people early on.
Yes. Yeah. What they, because it's beginners, they wouldn't have a cutty red or something like that to set the spawn point, would they?
Yep. Again, you and I, when we did the ship one, we had to use prospectors because there's no way a golem would cut it. Again, it's just.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Because the golem, you could have 2 or 3 extra things, and what was the one you were using with the S?
But my whole point stands is a new player shouldn't need to know about modules and the putting the things on the rock. This is literally an intro.
That would work if you had an introduction. Like the thing is that I think CIG. Last I heard anything from CIG, I don't remember if this was talking with them or I heard somewhere else. It's pretty clear that they're going to do like an hour or 2 or more tutorial that's going to be completely siphoned off from the rest of the game, where you start off and you learn about all of the different like ways to play the game in sort of like a single player experience, and then they let you into the universe.
Yeah.
So
would they be doing that? An hour, say, for combat, an hour for mining, an hour for
I don't know.
transport?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, I personally would love to have them do a couple of hours just for basic story building, basic like mechanics, and then have entirely scripted introduction missions for every profession that you could choose to do or not. So like having like 2 hours, an hour or 2 per each profession, but you have to like choose to do those routes. Like go talk to this guy for mining, this guy for salvage, this guy for bounty hunting. And so you have sort of a hand to hold you through the initial part of the game section, and then it jumps you out into the universe.
And your very first one for a ship should just be go out, hit the ship, the rock with the laser, get the shit, go back with a golem, go back, hand it in. Next one's come out. Hey, oh wait, this rock's a bit harder. You might have to use the Sabir or and chuck that on it. And they give you the Sabir to use, so you don't even have to go find where to buy it. Oh, if you need another one of these, drop by one of the stores and blah 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 blah. And then the next one is now we've got some modules, or whatever order you want to teach it in, but just dial it up every time. Keep it simple, stupid.
It's like you actually learned something the other night as well. That once you break the rock, go down and get your module back.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. Not the module, but the
Sabine.
The Sabir. Yeah, I just got up and then I lost it and I didn't realize you could go pick him up. But John was teaching me. Oh yeah. All right, John. Well, I'll let you go. That's all I wanted to talk to you about. But yeah, it was an interesting experience because I thought I was crazy before, and then when I took you in, I was really certain I wasn't crazy. I was just like, man, is this as bad as I think it is?
No, you are crazy. There's no doubt about that.
We're all crazy.
Yeah,
we're all crazy. We decided to back Star Citizen.
Yeah,
we're followers of Scam Citizen. We're all crazy.
Oh yeah. I'm fed up with the word scam when people. Yeah, you see it on YouTube. Star Citizen's a scam.
Yeah,
I still find it really hard.
Active.
I've never seen a scam last this long. Have you?
No.
It's the thing. Like I said last week, I took one of my friends out to play the game for the first time, and he could not disconnect, or even like he couldn't hold Squadron and Star Citizen in his brain. So he just the whole time he was walking around, he's going, "They've spent $1 billion on this game. How is this game not more ready?" And it's just a perception because there's the public facing part of this game, and then there's a private part that they've completely developed pretty much in the darkness, to the point that we're pretty much in the dark about it, compared to, we know a bit more, but you know what I mean? So it's going to be a really interesting year seeing that thing come out and just seeing the reaction, and then how long it takes for those people to realize that Squadron is a part of Star Citizen. I'm going to be really...
Oh yeah,
gonna be a really interesting shit moment. Yeah.
About like is it a good idea that CIG has completely changed the or like has a lot of people don't have the association between Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. Is that a good or a bad thing? Marketing, and I think it's probably an accident. It's almost certainly an accident by CIG, but it's probably a good thing. So,
John, if you want to go, man, I'll let you pop out, get some sleep. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate your time.
That's all right, mate. I shall listen for a little while I finish my cup of tea.
Okay.
I've always got a cup of tea, as you know.
Yeah, make sure you give Bella Bella Pat for me.
Oh, she's already gone to bed. She's not as stupid as what we are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely a
take care,
talkative Lou.
both of you, and everybody in chat. Have a good evening, or day, or morning, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Bye.
Thanks, John. Bye. The question again?
The question I had was like, is it a good thing that Squadron 42 and Star Citizen aren't associated with each other? Like, people don't associate in their minds in the public. They see them as two separate entities, not the same game.
Well, yeah,
we've talked about this many times.
Yeah,
you know, about how
there's pros and cons to both.
It's my favorite comment on that IGN trailer of someone being like, you know, because it's not Star Citizen. And it's like, dude, no, this is Star Citizen. So
yeah, it's a tough one because it's, you know, from our perspective, you know, Star Citizen's a rope around the neck of Squadron, but also we can see it the other way as well. It really depends on how it's presented to you and stuff like that. But I think honestly, a lot of people are just never going to know they're the same game, not until much later, unless they advertise it at the end of Squadron. But then again, how many people are going to get to the end of Squadron? So do they advertise it at the start?
I do it at the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna
do it at the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really interested to see how they whether they do or don't. So yeah, it'd be really interesting. Maybe they hold off and do it in episode 2 or something like that. Because by then, 1.0 will probably be out by then. I'd have to imagine. Very interesting to see. And also, that's the other thing is how long. Look at this question here. How long do you reckon it's going to be before we see episode 2?
A while. I think it's going to be at least 3 years.
I'd agree with
not
that.
4.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I remember they initially said 2 years, but I think we're talking a larger game than most. And yeah, a lot of the tech will be in there, but you want to. The general rule with sequels is thirds, right? So you want a third that's old, a third that's modified, and a third that's new. And so they'll probably go back in and add some new tech and things like that. And so that'll take a little bit extra time.
The advantage they have over other games is that they also have Star Citizen, which is basically the same gameplay loops, or at least it's actually more gameplay loops, so they can steal stuff from Star Citizen and put it into Squadron. But the reason why I say 3 years is because I think they're going to take a year off. I think they'll take a year just to patch up issues, and I think they'll probably cut some stuff and then put it back in with like a DLC expansion. If they're smart, they'll do it for free, but we'll see. So they can promote the sequel, and then they can just focus on the sequel for 2 years. You know.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting because this is the. I'll put this. It's almost the make or break, right?
Yes.
Like you can see why they've been so cautious, right? Because if you come here and you put out this game and it doesn't succeed, or even it's mediocre or it's poor, what does that mean for Star Citizen afterwards? If it's a raging success, it's a double-edged sword, because do they double down and do episode 2 more profusely, or do they also? You see where I'm going? Where if it goes poorly, there will be no Star Citizen.
The thing is, I doubt it's going to go poorly.
I agree.
From first off, you got to take a couple things into account. First off, we're talking about everyone who's a Star Citizen fan will be involved with Squadron 42, and I know a lot of people saying, well, but everyone who's purchased Squadron 42, everyone who purchased Star Citizen has purchased Squadron 42. First off, the answer to that is no. They have not. Even when you could buy them in packages together, they had not, because they split the packages back in like 2015, 2016. It's been a while. It's been close to a decade since they split the packages, and then after that, not everyone knew it existed in Star Citizen because nobody really talked about it outside of just like the occasional update.
I remember the famous LA CitizenCon, the recent one. I remember hearing on the day from people that were sitting in the crowd, they literally messaged me and said, there is a girl or woman right in front of me, 2 seats in front of me, that literally stood up and said, wait, what? We're getting a single player campaign?
Yeah.
I was like, what? You travel halfway across the, because apparently they talked to her later, and apparently she was from like New York or something. I was like, you travel literally across America to go to a convention, and you don't even know Squadron exists. And I was like, that just shows you, like it was epitome. It was like a slap across the face moment for me, where I went, there are people that just don't do any research on this game, and it's because it's really hard to do so. Like the only person I know that's really done it successfully that I can think of was and I'm going to butcher their name here. We met him at, oh god, what is his name? He's another content creator, and I'm just blacking out his name. But he sat there and he watched every single video, all the Wingman's hangers, everything from the beginning. And that's the only way you can do it. And he even said, yeah, you watch it like an entire 1 or 2 hours, and there'll be this tiny little hidden nugget in it that'll reference like 10 years later. And that's exactly how it is. So when, like, even you and I have that problem, don't we? Like, you'll say something and I'll correct you, or vice versa, because we've remembered something that the other had forgotten. It's, oh yeah, I remember now.
Or say 10 years ago. Yeah. You remember, it cannot hold that much information.
Yeah. You know? and it's got to that point now where it's taking multiples of us to remember that stuff. And then when we go track this down, it'll take us 3 days to track it down, and it'll be just like a 30-second clip in the middle of a thing. But let me continue on, because like, oh sorry.
How long has it been since they stopped selling Squadron 42 on the website? Like 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah. Well, we found out about that. It's because when you know, they told us that when you bought it, you got nothing. That's why they removed it.
But I mean, that was still 3-4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So for a significant portion of time, it was separate, and you had to know it existed in order to purchase it, and that not everyone knew. And then they removed it from the website, and it was around that time that they that we doubled the entirety of the members for Star Citizen. Like, I think there's as many citizens joined between 2020 and 2024 as had joined between 2012 and 2020.
Yeah.
So like, if you do the math, you could tell someone who's better at statistical modeling could easily take a look at it and say, like, probably a good half to third of the fan base has not purchased Squadron, or it may not even know Squadron exists. So if they do any sort of marketing towards the Star Citizen community, they're going to have people purchasing it. Plus, if they put it on other platforms like Steam, people will buy it there on top of wherever they purchased it before, because it'll be nice to put it into their libraries. So, plus, if there's any other sort of like special editions, if they come out with those, people will purchase that. So my point being, like, there's gonna get some guaranteed sales no matter what. If you're dropping $200 on a spaceship, you'll drop $50 on a Steam game. That is pretty simple.
Yeah. And they'll take the opportunity to do multiple digital variants.
Yes.
You know, so they'll I'm sure they'll have one that comes with ship, or one that or the one that comes with a skin in the campaign, or multiple skins. I just can't see them leaving money on the table like that. I could literally see there being like 3 editions, like a standard, a deluxe, and a collector's or something. And I think even later, I don't think they'll do physicalized stuff yet, but I think they will eventually. And I think you'll be able to, I think that would be RSI website exclusive, would be posted to you. Yeah.
My point being is that they already have some built-in guaranteed sales, and those sales are probably enough to make it a really, really spectacularly good launch. If the game isn't completely buggy and fucked, and as far as I can tell, that's what they're working on. They're really trying to get it down there, and it's a lot better than it has in the past. The big thing, I think, is, will it do better with the average player? And again, the reason why I brought up the like you and I kind of people, like the fans who might buy it, like, I'll buy it again. It's not that hard for me to say buy it again.
Paul, you won't have to buy it again. They'll give us a copy for free. What are you talking about? We're content creators. They're going to throw copies at us. What are you talking about?
But I'll still buy it. Like, I don't care. I'll still buy it. You know,
no, they'll throw a standard version, but not the collectors or something like that. That's what they'll do. So they'll be like, oh yeah, they're fans. They'll have to still buy it. But I reckon that'll be a thing too. If they bring out physicalized versions, they'll probably send out physicalized version to all us content creators to play and review.
And we'll see.
We'll see.
I think they're cheap. I don't know they'll do that.
And everyone at CIG just took notes. Fuck Paul. He's to me.
I haven't seen. Listen, CIG has given physical shit to content creators in the past. I ain't getting shit in physical content from CIG unless I walked up to Tyler and Tyler handed it to me.
Is there anything you want me to do when Tyler comes down here in February? By the way, should I give him your big sloppy kiss or something? Say that's from Paul.
Yes,
or
yes, that's perfect. Yeah. Perfect. That's perfect.
I just wanted to say, look, Paul wanted me to give you a big sloppy kiss, but I feel awkward. Is this going to be awkward if I give you see what he says? No, I only got to talk to him once at CitizenCon, but he was really had his head on his shoulders and like he'd say stuff and people just didn't know it's old. It was great. I loved it because we're having all this trouble. He just comes in and goes, right, and I just did what he told him to do. It was great. But
my point is that like the question is not necessarily will it do well. I think it's guaranteed to do at least somewhat well. And I think anyone who thinks it's going to bomb is insane. It will never make back the money that it was spent on it because people will say it was $1 billion was spent on it. It's a failure because it didn't make back $1 billion in a week or whatever. They don't really need that. But the important part is if it can jump between the Star Citizen cult and the rest of the gaming community. If it can do that jump, then I think it's more of a success than is the success it needs. Because CIG, based off of what was sent to me, someone went through all of the digital records and sent me some of the stuff, is that CIG needs to make about $200 million in the next 2 years that does not go towards just straight up profit of $200 million in the next 2 years in order to pay off their investors.
Yeah.
So when I saw someone say, well, they're not guaranteed to have Squadron 42 in 2026 based off their current situation, the fuck yes, they
have to. That's what I've been hearing.
This is no longer. Yeah, this is no longer a nice to. CIG is going to cut fucking content if it doesn't make it to 2026. They're going to do everything they can to get 2026 out because they need to make a profit. They don't make profit at CIG so far. Yes, they make $150 million. That all goes back into the company. They need to make $200 million on top of $150 million.
And how much of that money, like as soon as because they said they're going to have a short marketing.
Yeah.
And then they're going to start selling.
Oh boy, don't get me in my fucking. Oh my god.
Because this is the other part of it, right? Like I've thought this through, and I'm not a marketing guy like you.
Yeah.
I really want to get your dad in here one day and talk to you. Can we get your dad on? Can we do that? Would he be good for that?
But he's in an urn.
Sorry.
My mom's shelf.
Okay, your mum then. Sorry, I forgot. Sorry, I forgot. Your mum then. I meant to say your parents, but can we get your mum in? Would your mum be up for it?
Possibly. I could talk with her about it. I just have to get her to not like talk to give too much personal experience. She actually is the one who actually has experience working with video game companies. But hers is old. Like it's like an old experience. But I can tell you right now because I know people in our in our community who have done like a Serious Fun helped to do marketing for the Olympics. I think
there's a few, isn't there? Because there's
Atlanta.
Yourself. I know SA does it. Grim kind of does it with his movie stuff. His wife kind of does it with the movie stuff, and they are not exactly the same, but they're in the same ballpark, right? So, and there's rules that are universal. Yeah.
Velocity Raptor, who's a member of the community, he's going to school currently for digital marketing, specifically video games. He's actually working with games.
Yeah.
So the context of the thing that concerns me is not that it's a short marketing campaign. That's sort of concerning, but that's not unusual. Like that happens all the time. And there's plenty of games that get shadow dropped and do well, but most of those games at least have some buzz behind them before they released.
Yeah.
The problem I have is that he said specifically in the letter to the chairman that in fact, I have to pull this up because whenever if I don't use the word specifically, then people get mad at me because they're like, you're taking it out of context, Paul. Because I said they're not planning on marketing, and it's like that is effectively what they said. I effectively said they're not planning on marketing it.
So this is what I think it is, right? This is what I was trying to describe. I think they've only got a small amount of money, like 45 mil or 50 mil or whatever that they managed to save up, right? And I think they're going to use that to roll out. And then as they instantly start selling the game, I think they're going to turn around and take that profit and roll it back into more marketing. I think that's their plan. Use the game to fund its own marketing. So it's got a really short run up. And then as it starts selling, they instantly putting that back into more marketing and let it snowball. I think that could be the plan. But I could be absolutely wrong.
The problem I'm going to read this verbatim so that no one can say I'm taking Chris out of context.
Yep.
We don't plan a long, drawn-out marketing campaign, as we've already done our share of trailers and gameplay previews. That last part of that sentence makes me go, you don't plan on adding new content, new marketing.
Yeah.
You're going to use what you already had as your marketing. But nobody saw, or like anyone who saw like the Squadron 42 prologue mission in 2024 has probably forgotten about it unless they're a Star Citizen fan. So that's makes me go, and I really want to emphasize that when you don't do marketing, you end up like, oh gosh, what is the name of it? The one that no one likes to talk about, or everyone likes to talk about, is the biggest failure in gaming.
Concord?
Concord. Yeah, you end up like Concord. Concord didn't do any marketing.
Look,
because they're a brand new IP, nobody fucking knew it existed.
You know? I heard you say something really simple the other day that I thought was really good, right? And it was utilizing assets that you've already got, right? Is what you said, right? And I don't know how they go about doing this, right? Exactly. Like you could get some content creators in there or something as well. But you said it like this, right? How much would it cost them to get Henry Cavill, record him sitting down playing the game, and then talking to some people about it?
Yeah.
And you could pick ex-actor, Mark Hamill, whoever, right? You can do a couple of them. And even if it, like, that'd be far less money. And yet, as soon as you put that up on Star Citizen and said, "Hey, Henry Cavill, can you chuck these on your socials or whatever?"
Yeah,
to the that would go so. Like, think about all the videos he does when he plays like miniatures or something like that, and the hundreds of millions of views. And like IGN wouldn't pick that up and re-put it on their channel and all the other gaming media.
Oh yeah, they would, and that's the thing is that like Concord or High Guard, and I'm actually going to do a video on Monday. I'm going to be doing a capsule, which is my little like things I do for my.
One day someone's going to go. You're going to pull that out. Someone's going to go dildo, and then you're going to be really screwed, right?
Don't worry. This is a suppository, so it's even worse.
I don't know. You need some serious lube for that. It looks pretty big.
The thing is that. I'm going to do it because I think High Guard is a great example of of marketing gone wrong, because I think that's what CIG is planning on doing, is some big flashy event where they announce the release date and they don't do fucking shit until the release and or they just sort of shadow drop it and say, "Hey guys," without any prep. And I think both of those are bad because, again, nobody knows what Squadron is outside of a bunch of cult members, and it would be very difficult for a bunch of cult members to convince the regular gaming community of their cult game working.
Yes.
Because that is the perspective of a lot of people who follow content, Star Citizen content. They say, these people are part of a fucking cult. They're not really there.
And this is where I think this next part comes in. There's two parts I want to say, right? High Guard. I think High Guard was also developed in a bubble. So they didn't have anybody at the studio going, "This is shit," right? They have all of us telling us when it's shit or not shit. So they're not in a bubble, right? So that's the first part. Yeah. Secondly, I think there's a demo. I think there has to be a demo.
That would be smart as shit. I think that's the smartest move.
It sells itself.
Take that first mission. Yeah.
It sells itself.
Yeah.
It just, like, and again, if you cut little things that remove the spoilers, you can clearly tell there were certain little things that were muted or silenced in certain ways, or it chopped off at a certain point just to hide spoilers that were upcoming. And it doesn't have to be that whole first hour, but that's a very nice demo. If you had that as an hour, like how many demos do you get that are an hour long or an hour and 15 or whatever it was, right? And literally right at the end of it, you can go buy now and play right now.
Yeah.
You know, and some people will get so drawn in that first hour. Sign me up, baby. You know, again, utilize the resources that you already have.
I'm going to do a little bit of a pushback because someone says Concord didn't fail because of marketing. It fails because of ugly, woke-looking characters. I disagree. It failed because of marketing because nobody knew it even existed outside of people who were specifically keyed up to dunk on it for it having ugly character designs. That's the problem. I think there was a subset of the community who were dedicated to seeing it fail because they didn't because they saw all of the problems they didn't like with it. If it sounds familiar, we have a similar community in Star Citizen that does the same thing. And when you have a community, you don't have a community of supporters because they didn't bother fucking telling anyone. I didn't know about it until I heard people complaining about it. And by that time, it had already been fucking removed from the goddamn stores. Like, I follow gaming and I didn't see shit until it was too late. So it's a bad problem.
I knew about Concord 2 years before it got here. Right. Yeah. And I would say it could go both ways. Right. I can see your point of view, but I'd also agree with the person that was in chat. I think it had some very unappealing characters. Right. Yeah. The gameplay.
I'm not saying that's not wrong, but I'm saying that
so let's remove that.
You can't even get the people who would find them appealing.
Yeah. So let's so let's
know about it.
Let's strip off the woke stuff, right, and remove the woke stuff, and just look at the game itself. The game itself was very similar, like a clone of Overwatch, and you were charging people, I think it was $40 US or $50, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then there was other games that were coming out for free.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And so it was a combo of the charging, the not marketing properly, and I also think there was a woke element to it. I don't think it was any one thing. I think, like, to be the most unsuccessful game of all time, you've got to do multiple things wrong. I don't think you can just go, it's this. It's got to be like dominoes falling and it all cascades together, right? I don't think you can look at one game and say, no, it's always multiple things that go wrong. And that game was in a bubble too. The same thing with Hangar, right? They didn't. They're all there telling each other how good the game was, and they thought they were going to make it. They talked about doing an extended universe. Like they thought it was like the next Star Wars. They talked about it, and I'm like, are you for real? So there was no one there that said, these characters might look a bit weird, or this gameplay doesn't play properly, or maybe we should market to these people so other people can hear it. Nobody did that, right?
No one did that.
So you need someone like even right back near the beginning. Do you remember when Dyson was here? And he used to get really self-conscious about how negative he was. But often when he was in those talks, he would pull shit out of us that we hadn't thought of because he was being so negative, right? And so ever since he's kind of moved on, I see having someone that's directly kind of pole opposite to you is a good thing. You need to have that juxtaposition to get to the truth. So when you live in these bubbles, and let's be honest, we all live through these things in algorithms now, and they just tell us what we want to hear. And you can't do that. You want to hear what the other side has to say, because what happens is it actually brings us closer as people, and we make compromises, right? And so what would have happened is that game wouldn't have failed. It would have moved closer to where it needed to be to find the audience that it needed. And that's what I think they did wrong. They didn't communicate. Like, look at the difference between every other game we're seeing where they're in these bubbles now, and then you got Star Citizen that's almost too involved.
Yeah.
Like, so you want something in the middle where you get some feedback from your audience. Think about all the game, like Starfield, if they'd got feedback from, like if they brought out a demo, that wouldn't have been the catastrophe it was, because people would have gone, this is horseshit. You know, and it's the same thing with
do this.
Well, Highguard's probably going to delay, go back to the drawing board, fix a bunch of stuff, and come out in a year or two, and it'll probably survive.
be okay. It'll be okay. It'll find its niche if it does well. It's the devs who made Overwatch, who made Titanfall and Apex are talented devs. Like these are not untalented people. And from what I've seen of Highguard, it looks decent. But my problem is that I don't think CIG. I think CIG is because I've heard this argument. Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
I've heard this argument. People saying that CIG they sell ships very well, and they've done very well for selling marketing ships, and so they'll professionals and they'll do well and they'll market Squadron 42 well, and I'm like, fucking Highguard made it to the final fucking video on the Game Awards, one of the most hyped moments in gaming.
They're paid for slots,
and they paid for it. And they paid slots for it. So they paid the money for it. And they haven't done fucking shit since then. They haven't done any sort of marketing since then. They saw the
receptions like, oh shit. But the thing that always makes me laugh when I say Highguard is how similar Highguard is to Overwatch. Watch and guard are very similar, high and over. It's just like you could have thought of any other name, and it's just like, what the hell?
But that's the thing is that my point is that like I have a feeling that CIG is thinking about doing something similar. Flashy bounce, flashy release, and basically just nothing until it actually the date comes, which is, again, do I have to read the fucking letter from the chairman word for word again for people to understand? That's what he said. That's almost like, and until he comes out and says, no, that's not what we're planning, I am concerned that's what he said. And I've been seeing so many failures in the gaming sphere because of this sort of bad approach at marketing that I'm like, God, please do not fucking do this, Chris.
Your camera's gone off. You had a really awkward pose when it went off too. When they say short marketing, what did that kind of tell you? Because I kind of went, well, that sounds like about 3 months.
3 to 4 months, yeah. This is 3 to 4 months. Not ideal, but it could work. So, but my theory is an announcement for an announcement at Invictus. And then an announcement at the Summer Games Fest, which is the PC gamer thing that they do. That would be make the most sense. And then another big reveal at Gamescom. Another big trailer at Gamescom. And then some build up to a release in September, October. Because Gamescom's in August, Summer Games Fest is in June. So you only miss July, but July's not a really big marketing month for games. You could probably drop some trailers or something. But like if they did announcement for the release date, they say we're going to make the release date announcement at Summer Games Fest. They do Summer Games Fest announcement, and then they do maybe a demo at Gamescom. So like like a free playable demo for Gamescom. Then you got that going, and then you've got and then you have a sort of like a release trailer in like September or September for October, because Gamescom I think is in August. Then you got a release in October. That's a short amount of marketing, but that's still a lot of work. That's still a lot of work that they're gonna have to do with like probably trailers on YouTube and other things like that. So
I think you'd agree too, from the consensus of people that I've talked to, yourself included, most people are thinking it's October. That's kind of what I'm hearing is it's October.
I don't think most people. I think a lot of people think it's going to come out in June.
Really?
And I'm like, I don't see June. I see October, because they're not even in beta. Like, and I know a lot of people are like, well, they could do a quick beta. I'm like, that's a mistake. That would be a mistake to do a quick beta. You need at least a couple months.
I knew someone was going to ask that. Thank you, Cyber Taniwa. Right? I actually disagree with you, Cyber Taniwa, and I've said this before. So Sunny Taniwa says, can't do anything close to November because of GTA 6. Well, I don't agree. GTA is a console game. This is a PC game. The only crossover they have is marketing. And again, if they're having a really short marketing window, and also I think if any of the two games is going to move based on not just what Paul said, but other things, like there's a lot of legal reasons why Star Citizen Squadron needs to come out this year, is GTA is probably going to be the one that moves. because GTA is having a lot of internal problems. If you read the tea leaves and listen to what people are saying, some of the people that they let go because of that actually, you were talking about this one.
Union.
I'll let you talk about this. Yeah, I'll let you talk about this one.
Basically, there were like 30 people they fired because they were talking about things they weren't supposed to talk to, which is almost certainly they were telling each other salaries. But several of those members, several members of that team were union organizers, and several of those union organizers were themselves vital members of the team, like people who were like senior leads who only knew had a bunch of things. Jason Schreier did, I think, a big expose on it, but I've seen there's been a couple of people looking into it, and they basically said like, oh yeah, no, there seems to be at least some blowback as well, because I think there was been some malicious compliance where people were doing work slowdowns and stoppages because of the firing as well. So like people were just like showing up and not doing their jobs. Yeah. So there's definitely something going on there since they fired 30 people and it made it to the floor of Parliament, you know, in the UK. So
CIG, I'll give a similar example, but not exactly the same, but one in recent memory that so people can kind of correlate, was the guy that worked on the elevators. He did not want to work on the elevators. They made him work on the elevators. Once he finished working on the elevators, he left CIG.
He quit.
And then Lando literally said, we went back to him and asked him if he'd come back like many years later. And he said, hell no. And he said, because you forced me to and I didn't want to. That's why I left. And now no one else knows how to use the code because you pissed him off. So again, and that's at CIG, and CIG don't really go out of their way to piss people off as far as I'm aware, but you think that they would have had multiple people work on it to share that boring load, so to speak. And, you know, and now they've got to rewrite the whole code for elevators from scratch. So, so it's very important, whether you're a programmer or any type of creative, is to include them in that process, because, you know, you'll get someone that's very sad. They'll make very sad artwork. It's just that simple, right? You know, everyone knows how it works. So you want your artists and programmers to be in a good atmosphere to make the best work. And again, you go look at what's happened here at 2K Games. They've seriously fired 30 people, high up people that clearly knew how the company ran. So think about that. But then you've demoralized all the people underneath.
Yeah.
You know, so I think back to Blizzard too. Do you remember how Blizzard used to give out free food and shit and all those perks they used to have? And then the CEO left, and as soon as they came in, literally the next week, and I was talking to friends, and they're like, they're just gutting everything. They're getting rid of the cafeteria type thing, and they're getting all rid of all this stuff. And I went, their games are going to go to shit. And no doubt, over the last 10 years, look, it's all gone to shit. You need a constructive environment, you know, to make this shit. It's the only way good games thrive. And money people don't understand that. They don't.
The point being, what you're trying to make, which I agree with, is that, and there's a heated conversation in the community, because this is not just a Star Citizen thing.
No. This is everywhere.
About like what's going to release around, like who's going to release what around when with GTA. But your argument and my argument is the same, which is if you release before GTA, you have a chance of capturing word of mouth and people experiencing it. You're never going to beat them in head to head with budget. Like GTA will have Super Bowl ads. I mean, like they're gonna be pumping out like,
we talked about Baldur's Gate
ads, which cost a lot of money.
Baldur's Gate, Starfield type of thing. Yeah.
Baldur's Gate released a month before Starfield, even though it was originally supposed to release right next to it, and as a result, it captured a audience that was it was released in August, so there wasn't a lot of people playing, and they only released a PC, even though Starfield was PC and consoles, and they managed to capture a lot of attention because people were looking for something to do. They liked it. It built up a lot of momentum, and I heard people, it would have been done fine anyways. I'm like, no, Baldur's Gate is a niche product. It is an insanely niche product. I don't think it would have done well outside of the niche if it didn't hit when it did.
Yep.
And I think Star Citizen or Squad 42 has a chance to do pretty well because it's got a lot of similar things. It's got its own niche following that people like. that people fall for it. So you already got initial bumps. So you'll have people talking about it, and then if you capture a couple people in there who are somewhat influential, they'll pump it up a little bit more if it does well in terms of scores. You know.
So there's two things I want to, or three things I want to go over actually. So Parker in YouTube and Viper were talking about consoles, and they were saying that it'll sell more consoles, and then Viper said that don't matter. People will buy consoles to play GTA. They're both correct. You're both correct.
Why? That's even though it's going to consoles, it's going to suck the air out of the room. Is the problem?
Yeah,
it'll chew up the conversation.
It's not the console PC thing because they're separate, right? But if people have got money to buy both, or to buy a console just to play GTA, well, then they've got enough money to buy Star Citizen as well. Like $100 or $70 is nothing when you're buying a multi-$100 console, right? And when you kind of lay it down, we're talking about, you know, a month and a half before. That's multiple paychecks before. These people are going to be able to go, right, well, I'll just buy Squadron, play that for a couple of weeks to pass the time while I wait for GTA. So they're going to do that, right? So I don't.
That's a month worth of play.
Yeah, the only crossover, and Paul is correct, and I 100% agree with him, is the marketing overlay. But again, if they can do that guerrilla thing and they get it out at just the right time, kind of like what happened with Baldur's Gate, they capitalized on everyone. Like Starfield kind of just sat there. They're like, okay, everyone's got this hype. We don't need to do anything. The hype is huge. So if they've already built up all that hype over the 6 months, and then they're just sitting there coasting for the last month, and Squadron goes, peekaboo, they could really capitalize. And this is the other thing I wanted to go over. The cast.
Yes.
Have you gone through this thing? There is some massive people in this.
I'm going to step away for 2 seconds. I'll be right back. But yeah, there are some massive people. So let's read it to chat, and I'll come back.
Well, I'm just going to do this real quick. Look, it's huge. Like, it's absolutely massive. I actually had to go through and find some people that I'd lost, like Patrice here. So Patrice is actually the guy that does the head honcho Vandal that acts next to Andy Serkis. And I actually went through this with John Citizen. He hadn't seen a lot of these people, and it was just really interesting to go back through. But there's a lot of people in this that are absolutely, I don't want to be rude and say nobodies, but I don't know of them. But then there's some really well-known faces that pop up, like this guy here, like Craig Fairbrass. I didn't know who his name, but I knew his face. And then Richard Brake, I know him as well, right? So there's a lot of British actors in here that they've pulled in. And they're all like, you know, these are faces we've seen before. So this is let's actually bring up, yeah, this is this guy. This is this guy. So you would have, oh, come on, load. It's not going to load. But these are characters that we've seen in the trailers before and that we've known for years. So it's just really interesting to see how this is all going to pan out. Australians even in here. John Wexler, Andy Serkis, Liam Cunningham, and Rhys Davies. So even just in the top 10, there are all these really well-known people. And you take that back to every other video game you've ever seen, I can't not see this taking off. I just can't. The way, and I'd put this to American audience mainly, because you guys, and I don't take this as an insult, it's just a factual, you guys seem to have that celebrity culture, right? I don't know how to word that. Does that pull you in, knowing that it's people that you know? And I'd even ask that to other people too. Like, is that appealing to you to have people you know in the storyline that you're playing? And it kind of does to me. It makes me more comfortable. It makes me want to, you know, spend time in that story. Kelter Knight 091, first time test, says yes. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I can't not look at this list of people and think of all the movies they've been in, all the sci-fi things, Game of Thrones, X-Files, Fifth Element, Superman, Star Wars, Luke Skywalker. Like, it's just, like, it's super appealing to me. Like, really, like, this is speaking my language. So, you know, I don't know. Only Gillian Anderson. Okay, only Gillian Anderson. But you get my point, right? Like there are going to be people in this that you're going to want to see, you know, and that's appealing to people, and it's appealing to me, and I think of how a lot of Americans are really into that celebrity culture, and I think of, you know, they are the biggest audience, right? Like that, factual, right? So if they pull us in, or pull all the regular people in, won't everyone else follow? It's kind of like how for the non-US people know what I'm talking about, but as a non-US person, your culture as Americans really defines and dominates, because you guys make a lot of the movies and all that type of stuff, a lot of the TV shows and things like that, and obviously you'd see it come back to you when you see a TV from the UK or Australia or wherever it's from, right? But they're nowhere near as common or popular as American shows, right? If you know, and it'd be the same thing with Canada. A lot of your TV shows are made in Canada too. So, well, I'd assume so. Base Truther talks about hope they can keep the cast for future episodes. Well, I think that would have been a part of the contract, man. But here's the other part: how many of these guys die off in 5 minutes? Gillian Anderson almost looks like she dies in the tutorial. So, is she even there? Like, is she just in the first episode and you don't see her because she stays on the Javelin? If you save her, does she go back to being the captain on the Javelin and you go off to the flight academy and you never see her again? You see my point? So she might just be at the start and then never ever seen again. SA says, Bluey rules them all. Yes, that's true. We do rule them all. We are very good at making children's TV here. If you've ever seen John on Play School, there's a character called John, funniest guy I've ever seen. You can sit down and watch Play School as an adult and you'll just lose your mind. It is hilarious. And then you got, don't even start on Bananas and Pajamas. Yes, that's a thing. Look it up if you don't believe me. I remember coming home from school as a kid, and then you'd have Sesame Street that the little kids would be watching, and I'd get home, and then, you know, their shows would be wrapping up, like Play School, Bananas and Pajamas, and then you'd get home about 4 o'clock and all the older kids shows will start to kick off, and then it would go through for the next 2 hours till the news would hit, and then the adults would take over. It was already every day like clockwork. You could see how they'd lined it up for whoever their prime candidate of kid or adult was watching the TV. It was very interesting. Rumor is McLaren is gone. Don't let Paul spoil. I don't get that. Right. I wanted to talk about this with Paul, but he's just totally disappeared. I don't know why. So we'll talk about this instead. All right, he's back. All right, we'll talk about this one in a minute.
Sorry about that, X.
That's all right. I'm just going to dock your pay, right? 0 from 0 is more zeros, right? So don't worry. You there? I just said I'm docking your pay. So 0 minus more zeros is still 0. So we're all good, right?
Yeah.
So long story short, I went through and I basically said, like, this game's cast is very appealing to me because they're all sci-fi people. I've seen them in so many things. And what I wanted to kind of ask you, and what I asked these guys, was, as an American, right? Because American kind of dominate the entertainment landscape. Do you think this celebrity list and sci-fi will appeal to a lot of Americans?
Yeah, enough of the demographics. So there's a big demographic. There's a reason why there's a push right now for single-player adventures in space.
Yep.
And because Mass Effect has been MIA for years, and people have been looking for a Mass Effect-like experience for a very long time, and they just don't exist outside of super indie stuff. And so over the last 3 years, we've got Exodus, which is made by former Mass Effect devs, BioWare devs, and then you also have I think it's Exodus, and then you have Osiris, which is the Expanse game. Both of which are made by experienced developers, with Osiris being developed by Owlcat, which did the Rogue Trader game.
Yep.
So like they're pretty decent, and so there's definitely a demand. At least these companies see there's a demand for this market. That's why they got enough money for it. So that means that if there's a demand for it, then there's probably a demand for Squadron in terms of that cinematic experience. And some people have been saying like, oh yeah, it's going to be on rails. It's not on rails, guys. If you've played Wing Commander before, you kind of know what it's going to be like. It's going to be missions based, but it's going to have some diversion, some split, that sort of thing.
Well, and then I went into things like, well, I said, how many of these characters are going to be in the entire length of the game? How many are going to be killed off? Stuff like that. So I gave the example of Gillian Anderson's character. She pretty much gets very injured at the end of that tutorial, right? But no matter how I look at it, I can't see her continuing, right? So either you leave her behind and she dies, or he goes to hospital, recovers, and then goes back to the Javelin. That's best case scenario, right? And you've gone off to the Idris, so she's just out of the story now.
Oh yeah, almost certainly.
And that's not even mentioned. She could still doesn't even mention she could succumb to injuries as well.
Yeah. And then you've got the people like the John Rhys Davies character, who's designed specifically for this story, but he's probably not going to show up again.
Yeah,
because he's the security manager at Archon Station.
And I'd say the same thing with Ben Mendelsohn. He's the head of the human mining thing. It's not like you're going to be going to talk to him all the time. You probably talk to him maybe 2 or 3 times, and that's it. Liam Cunningham, I could see him being there for a very long period of time. But you can start to look at certain actors and say,
we know the story of Squadron from the beginning was the whole idea is that you would be evolving over time, where you'd start off in one ship and you go to another ship. That's it. Liam Cunningham is the captain of the Stanton. He's not likely going to end up as the captain of the ship you're going on ahead of time.
Exactly.
It's just sort of the story. So
exactly.
Yeah, a lot of these established characters are probably not going to be around for part 2. Not because of like a story elements. They probably wrote that in anyways, but only because the cost, the cost at the time is going to be high.
Yeah, exactly. So how like a really let's just take Gary Oldman for example, right? We know he turns up at the start, but like is he at the start and at the end and that's it?
Possibly.
We just don't know. The advantage of being a game over a movie too is you don't have to do that contract where they have a certain amount of lines and all that type of bullshit. You can just use them where you want to use them and that's it, right? And then on top of that, do they have characters like let's say Henry Cavill dies off? Do they change that because they asked Henry if he wanted to come back? Like you can go any way you want it to go. Like I know that someone in 2022 asked Gillian Anderson something about Squadron, and she totally forgot she'd been in it.
Yeah, so I mean, she's in one scene. We know that pretty much. She's in one scene. The prologue. So I imagine it's a couple of days of work, but it's a couple of days of work. A couple of days of work in 2014.
So again, I go through all this. Like everyone brings up this Sophie Wu character, right? For example, she was in 2 movies of note. And they're not even that big. Kick-Ass 1 and 2, and there's another one, and I've forgotten the title of it. But that's it. She's not really been in anything else. So she's kind of like had her time in the sun and kind of fallen off a bit. And that's not trying to have a go at her. I'm just stating fact, right? Yeah. You've got Rona Mitra there. She's probably the last movie I saw her in was Red Sonja, right? So she's again fallen off a little bit.
She was in The Last Ship, but that series has been concluded for years. But like she's a TV actress mostly now.
And that's what I mean. So we've gone from the movie guys at the kind of the top, and now we're getting into the TV stuff. Same thing with Jack Hudson here, who plays Cal Mason, right? Yeah. But I can tell you, because he would be cheaper to get, he's probably going to appear longer in Squadron.
He has more of a connection. Yeah, he's more of he has more of a connection with Chris. Because he was in Outlander, which was Chris produced that movie, and so there's some connection there. And he's a cheap enough actor that he could mainline a game like Squadron, and he could be like a big character that people are like, oh yeah, I love Cal Mason, and it's clear that CIG loves Cal Mason because that's been their fucking push early on was Cal Mason. So they think they have Jack around. So
this is one I know the guy's face, never knew his name. Right? Yeah, I've seen him in a heap of shit, right? He always plays bad guys. Yeah.
And he's a great guy.
Yeah. So I was just going through here, and like there's all these faces that I've seen in other things. Like I was down here earlier, but you weren't here. But where's his name? There's 2 guys down further. This guy here, he's been a bunch of shit. He's the guy that gets off the MPUV, and he's the taller guy. And then Richard Drake. I didn't know his name either, but I've seen him in a shit ton of films. He always plays like the old English guy with the dirty teeth or something. He's like in 1842 or something, so but a lot of the guys down here I've never seen before, and I'd say vast majority of the cast is just nobody I've ever heard of before. You know, so this guy here, Patrice Mambena, I talked about him as well. He's the guy that plays next to Andy Serkis, but he's probably only in the one scene because he's dead. Yeah, and then he's dead.
We saw him because we ran a javelin into him. Yeah, he's dead.
he's gone. So but again, see, it's almost like the more known they are, the less time they're in the script. So you can see why they've got so many people though. But like it's just crazy that how many like I'm still scrolling, but like look at the faces that are now on here. Like now we get down to Sandy and Otwin, but like everyone else above them, I don't know who they are. You know, well, up to a certain point. So my point being is, I think they've got key roles and then a lot of standardized people that appear for the entire length. So I would taper your expectations is what I'm trying to say. Like they can go, oh, it looks great because Henry Cavill's in it, but how long is Henry Cavill in it for?
Yeah, he might be in it for the beginning and the end. You know, it's you got to remember that the story of Squadron, which we kind of already know, even if you look at the trailers, is this big bombastic entrance, and then you're sort of fucked off to this ass end of the universe. Yeah. So you're sort of like, and they even make it, if you remember the Moro tour, where like Rona Mitra's character, the executive officer, is like, it's like we're proud of what we do. Some people say we're not doing anything unless they're kicking Duel's ass, but you know what? You better fucking get in line because what we do is important, you know, kind of thing. So, you know,
and then the shit hits the fan and it all kicks off. I have no doubt.
And I'm, because I have to be careful because I don't know how much has actually been released. I can tell you that a large portion of Squadron's story is a mystery. Not a mystery to us, like it is a mystery you're solving. Yeah. There's things that are going on that you don't quite understand, and part of the game is for you to solve that mystery to figure out what's going on.
Well, you can tell that a little bit with the Zion stuff too, can't you? Like there's a little
there's stuff that's going on that you don't know about, that you're kept in the dark about. Plus, you know, Shadow Khan and the LMC, and like there's a lot of little things here and there. I'm not going to directly use this, but I think it's a good comparison in the sense that I feel like it's fairly similar. Is like the original Black Ops campaign, which was very like you're engaging in the story, what's going on, but there's a mystery that you're trying to solve underneath everything that's sort of combined. It's not the exact same thing. You're not going to be fucking waking up in an advocacy like interrogation room, like, what are the numbers, Lieutenant? What are the numbers? But it's that sort of vibe where like you're going to be doing things, but there's going to be this mystery element that's vibing throughout most of the game. So. The Expanse season 1. It's another great example. That kind of idea. Like there's something going on, but you don't know quite what, and you're too busy trying to fight fires to figure it all out.
See, that's the other thing. Like, look at the Expanse. A lot of those actors were very unknown, and now look at what, you know, like they haven't really appeared in anything since because all their costs go up. It might be the same with some of these guys too. Like they get well known, and then all of a sudden their costs go up. That's just how it is. Man, I also thought that was the guy from June there for a second, but it's not.
Someone's asking if will Henry Cavill be my best friend in this game, and I'll say this: at best, he's going to be like Han Solo and with Luke Skywalker. You know, like, I got one, great kid, don't get cocky, that kind of thing. Yeah. You
know? So this is the sneak peek. The line is delve deeper. Now, my first thought was when they delve deeper, I thought of the depths. Is this that stuff they were talking about under Area 18? But it looks a hell of a lot like Levski.
It's Levski. It's the municipal works.
Yeah. So I think they've moved it from ArtCorp to Levski.
Yeah, we know that. They said they showed it off at the Citizen Direct. I'm just surprised it would be this soon, because they were basically in white box at CitizenCon Direct. Maybe it was just the first thing they pulled for footage back in like July or whatever. But
just want to enhance because I thought I saw something. Maybe I'm seeing things, but oh, it's just a poll, right? I thought it was some kind of like creature or something there for a second.
Creature. Yeah.
You know, I want to see some more creatures actually, not just the worms and stuff. I want to see like some. sewer rats or something like that. I'd like to see some more of that stuff come in.
Essays in chat being like, I miss Levski.
Yeah.
Go. It's there.
It's right there.
Just go say hello.
Yeah. Don't
you know better than that essay.
Yeah. Because one of the other things that was really evident, I was talking about the scanning, is how many harvestables and animals pop up now. When you're doing that scanning, look for the caves and the mining nodes, there was animals everywhere, and I'm talking copians, grazers, juvenile worm things. And then on top of that, sometimes I walk up to or fly up to an unknown, and it would turn into, like, on the first day, I think they were revenant pods. So there were these new plants I'd never seen before. So I was finding heaps more shit with the scanners, again, leading me to believe that there is scanning coming sooner rather than later, because again, I'm seeing those changes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see how this goes, and the stuff from. Generally, you would agree with the statement. Whatever we see at CitizenCon, you kind of see that roll out over the next year.
That's the plan since 2023. That's been sort of their modus operandi. So it's like anything you see is designed for over the next year, and if it doesn't quite make it next year, it's either delayed for serious reasons or it's delayed to the year after that. So
things like
engineering.
So they probably want to try and get the planet in. What is it, Pyro 1 or whatever it is this year? I'll attempt it.
One,
I think they'll. That'd be the delay thing for me. That's probably the biggest thing.
I think they'll do it. I think I think the issue is more dynamic meshing. If they get dynamic meshing in, then they can get those planets in, and if they get those planets in, then they can also get Castra in. I think they're pushing for Castra. But
Castra's a tricky one. Right,
it's only 2 planets.
It's only 2 planets, but that landing zone, that's a really important landing zone. It's a style we haven't seen. You think CIG isn't going to put something in that's half of missing assets? Of course they're going to. That's my thing. Like, do you tell them to hold off and just polish, or do they?
They're just going to.
I know you and I are pushing broken people, right? Like, we're now moving into that territory of where they need to have things at a more polished state, because other newbie people are not going to accept that shit.
They're just going to lock it down so there's only certain ports you can go to. So, like, you'll be able to go to, like, the cargo deck and, like, some of the other things, and then they'll just lock you out from the other places if they're not done. That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
Like, this is CIG in 2025 was just the patch always goes. And it seems like that's very much what they're going to be doing with 2026 is they got to hit those dates. Again, they have to have flush cash of minimum $200 million to pay off their investors within the next 3 years.
Yep.
They don't have that.
Well, they also talked about Terra being for 1.0, but I just can't see a decent version of Terra within 2 years. I just... Like, let's fundamentally, the big one is the tech that they need for ArcCorp, they need for Terra.
Yeah.
And
there are minimum 3 cities on Terra that they need to do. I know originally they were just going to do Terra Prime, but that was like Star Citizen, the Starfield edition. Like, they're going to need to do all of the cities on Terra, and that's going to be... But I don't think they'll have all the cities on Terra for 1.0. They'll have Terra Prime.
How long has it been since we heard about that internal building tech? Is it a year now or 2 years? I know it was like March, April.
2 to 3.
Yeah, I think it's 2. I think it's 2. But the point is, that's the kind of tech you need to pull off ArcCorp. I'll put it to you this way. Do you think we'll see ArcCorp before Terra? Or do you think they'll go straight to Terra and then come back and do ArcCorp? Oh, okay, all right.
I'll go straight to Terra. Yeah. CIG is a new assets kind of company. Like, if they got the new assets, they'll use them. I think what they'll do is they'll get all the assets in, they'll get everything done, and then they'll go back and fix Pyro, and then they'll fix Stanton, because Stanton is the most difficult that they have to do.
Well, it's almost like what they're doing with Nyx is they're building it as they go, and I get the feeling that that's what's going to happen. So we'll see the planets pop in like one at a time, and then you'll go over to Castra and it'll be one planet then the other, and then you'll go over to Terra and it'll be like one planet after the other, and I'd have to assume the last planet's going to be Terra itself, because that thing is just, it's a massive ass planet, and it almost requires every tech we've ever seen to pull it off. And then sometime after that, then you'd see Sol. The problem with Sol is the known landmarks.
Aspects,
that we've talked about as well. So, yeah. And we've been talking for 2 hours and 20 minutes almost, and we've done like 2 questions.
No, 2 questions.
So I feel
let's hit some of the questions hard, and we'll go for like another hour or so, right? You usually go like 3 hours, 3-4 hours.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you right now, my mum's vacuuming around the house. I was meant to have lunch with her 20 minutes ago, and I've just basically messaged her and said I can't make it because of things that have happened. I totally forgot about delaying the 2 hours today because you. Not your fault, my fault. I didn't organize myself. So what I'll probably do is we'll do as many questions as we can in 40 minutes, and then I'll kind of nick off and try and.
That's fine. Let's hit it up.
Hang on.
Let's go to the questions.
I'll just quickly send. Well, you do the first one. And we'll just Can you do 1 p.m. Because otherwise, if she can't do 1 p.m., I'll just stay and we'll do it longer. Right. All
right. Let's start with the first one. Wow, we are way back there. I guess 1.9. Let's find some of the newer ones.
So where's the starting bot? So I'll just put the laughing smiley face. That's the ones for today.
I see it.
Yeah. So, and we also did the one execute. Can you go through the point patch number system, like where the difference between a whole number patch to a point patch double? What? English,
I'll explain it. They explained a little bit later, which was basically the difference between 4.4 and 4.4.1 and 4.4.2 and 4.4.3. And the answer is nothing.
Nothing now, because people were basically going, oh, you know, these point nothing patches, so they just moved them all to be just point, and they got rid of the second point because the things what people were saying. So yeah,
every so often they'll do the point extras, and I think that's mostly because they wanted to get certain things in for that patch build, and they didn't, so they just cut it out, and then they put it back into a point. So like we might have like a 4.6.1. That's just because if something doesn't quite make it into 4.6, they'll just add it into 4.6.1, and then they'll have other updates for it as well. But in reality, like they haven't updated the engine until 4.5 or 4.4. They didn't update the engine until 4.4. So like it's been, and before that they hadn't done it for a year. So
Smurf says, is there not pretty bad to sell a new version of a ship that is better in every way and then ignore the old ship that people paid for? I think they should retire the old model and give everyone who owned the updated version. Well, that's kind of where I was at too, right? It's the same thing with the Hornets. Like, why did you make it $50 extra, yet they never, like their whole thing is, oh, you've had that for 10 years or whatever. But if you brought it the week before, you didn't have it for 10 years. And now you've got the outdated version before the game really ever came out. So and $50 is a lot. If it had been $5, $10, I don't think we'd be having this discussion. But $50, that's almost a full price game. $10 more and you're at $60. That's a full price game.
The answer is CIG will do it if they can get away with it, and they've been getting away with it. Because that's how it works.
Yeah.
Until they stop getting away with it, until one of those ships doesn't sell well because people are pissed about it, they'll do it.
Well, again, if I go back to here, this will prove your point well and truly. This shit. They're not patch bundles anymore. They are monthly bundles. And the price has kind of gone up. It's $28. You know, my fundamental problem remains the same. Just sell them separately and I won't have any problem. I've got no problem with you selling them, but just sell them separately. Because if I want the armor and I don't want the gun and I don't want the ship, well, then I'm not going to buy it because it's not worth it. And vice versa. I might want the ship but not want the armor. Selling it together is what the problem is.
I think I bought one of the patch bundles this last year because it had the armor looked good and I had the ship. So I was like, the gun I don't give a shit about, but the other stuff I nice. So I got that. Yeah. So that was it.
Yeah. Again, it just comes back to the, you know, you're forcing people to kind of buy. That's why they do it though, because they make more money. It's all about making more money. And again, we should have rejected this en masse when it happened.
But we didn't.
We didn't.
And that's why we have the same reason with skins, and that's the reason why we'll never have the hex code.
That's it.
So
you know, we should have stayed strong, but we're weak.
I'm not.
I brought patch bundles as well. I can't fault people. I bought the first one.
The issue is, when it comes down to it, is CIG is a company and they'll do everything they can to make money.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people were like, well, you're blaming the victim in this case. And it's like, man, if CIG is a predator, they are the weakest predator out of gaming. There are far more apex predators when it comes to monetizing the shit out of their games. CIG is just the most pretty well known for it because of how much of their prices, but like, whew, never play a Genshin or Wuthering Waves or Zenless Zone Zero, baby, because that's just gonna eat your wallet whole.
It's just that thing, isn't it? You can get a lot of indie games for an entire game for the price of this. You know, it's half the even if you look at it a full price game, it's half the price of a full price game. That's just crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. They're way too expensive, and it just scares me going forward, like the prices of what things are going to be. Like, I know people will turn around and say it's money raising, but once they have a like a beachhead, they're not going to give that. They're not going to give that up.
I am so concerned about their pricing for Squadron. Like, if they price Squadron at $70, I'm going to fucking lose it.
I think it's $70 without even question.
I think that's stupid. It's so stupid. It's got to be. In my opinion, it's 50. You do 50 for the basic pack, and then you do a 70 and a 100 as an update.
It was 50, wasn't it, back in the day? Now you mentioned it.
It was 45. It was 45. But
I remember it being $49.95 is what my brain remembers.
That would work. Maybe for an Australian.
No. That was US, is what I remember. But again. It's been off the store, as you said, for ages, so it's hard to remember exactly. But I remember it being 49.
My point is that if you look at the successful games from the past year, all of them were under $60. The most successful, well-known, well-loved games were under $60. The only games that did okay that were over $60 were games like that were always going to do well because they're like regional, they're franchises that are always doing it. Selling a brand new game at $70 is like, okay, hi Concord, how's it going? Good to see you come back a little bit here. You know, that's the mistake that Concord make, and it's this mistake that plenty of companies make, where they're like, we're going to overcharge for our game. But I'm not going to get into that because we'll get into a whole different conversation, and that gets through some of these ones. So,
do you want to do the next question?
Sure. The next question is Dash2342 asks, is CIG fumbling the marketing, or are they clever by avoiding associating Star Citizen, or Squad 42 and the negative image of State of Star Citizen? That's just a mistake.
Yeah,
we won't talk about it.
Yeah, we kind of went all over that one, so we don't have to repeat that one again. We got a super chat there from James Spinner, who says, do you think CIG will reissue dog tags for Squadron? Oh, that's a good one. Well, again, that could be a part of that physicalized edition.
Copy, physical edition.
That's a tough one.
Someone's saying dog tags. Yeah, they sold dog tags as part of the merch store.
They did. And that's they're not hard to do, because you can actually buy a dog tag machine that prints them for about $100, and then all you need is blanks. And if they get them mass produced with, like, say, Star Citizen logo on them, it's just punch everyone through the machine. So you can just, again, you could just have staff doing that in China, and they'd do it for you.
So someone said Squad 42 is already paid for, but I'm fine with 60. That's the problem, is that it's not necessarily the people who already have the game, or the Star Citizen fans. Star Citizen fans will pay whatever the fuck CIG asks them to. We can see that, as we just talked about on the screen over there. But it's the non-Star Citizen fans. It's the people the people who are like on the fence, especially if you're going to release this in the fall. Do you charge a full fucking price game, or do you get $50? I think you get $50. You're going to get a lot more people going, okay. Because in there's a meme thing right now where the Peak developers talked about their pricing schedule, and it goes something to the effect of like, $8 is basically $5 to a gamer, $6 is basically $5, but $9 is $10, and $12 is $10, but $13 is $15, but $7.99 is basically $5. But some people were like, and it's like people are like, this makes no sense. I'm like, it makes perfect fucking sense, because people aren't fucking rational when they look at prices.
People justify
$50.
People justify things to themselves. Yeah.
someone will pull the trigger at $50 where they'll gag at 70. And I think that's the important part to take in there. And I don't think CIG is ready for that. I think CIG, because Chris Roberts has this high opinion of himself, and it's like, Chris, you haven't released a game in fucking 26 years. You have to remember that. You're coming back from scratch, buddy. You gotta build up the reputation.
The appeal is not Chris Roberts. The appeal is that cast of characters in Squadron.
Oh yeah, but I think Chris is still sucking his glory days.
No, I think some people like Sandy. I think Sandy would bring him back to reality. I think Aaron would bring him back to reality. Inside our community, he's like a rock star, so to speak, because we all know him that way, right? But as soon as you step outside, you have to go outside and go put Henry Cavill, Gary Oldman, and like Chris Roberts on a thing and say, who of these do you recognize? And they would recognize the other two, have no idea who Chris Roberts was, right? It'd be so obvious, right? Even if you asked them who directed this movie, they wouldn't know who directed Lord of War and Wing Commander and all that shit. They wouldn't know any of that shit, Yeah. And I don't think he's that unrealistic. I think he knows. I think he knows. He's not a gloaty person. If have you ever sat down and talked with Chris? I don't think a lot of people have. Yeah, he's really passionate, and it's all about the game. It's got nothing to do with his ego. He is just, he's very level-headed.
I'm just recalling back to the, I think it was 2016 or 2017, so maybe 2018 CitizenCon, where he's like, we're going to do pay-per-view. And everyone rebelled and was like, no, you're not going to make CitizenCon pay. And that's where we got the CitizenCon bundles. Yeah. But his argument was, well, BlizzCon does that. And it's like, yeah, Chris, you're not fucking Blizzard. Yeah, he eventually came back down, but that was his excuse.
But that's not just his
problem.
Well, it's also not just him. There's a whole team doing that, right? So he's not sitting there calling the shots on everything.
I apologize. I shouldn't say it's just Chris Roberts. It's the management team at CIG, I think, is dumb enough to sell Squadron at $70 because they're like, well, everyone else is doing it and we're a AAA game. It's like, no one knows who the fuck you are, idiots. You need to sell it at a price that people will be willing to bite the bullet. Squadron 42 Part 2, you could sell at $70. And as long as they sell like deluxe editions at $80 and $100 in digital goods, that'll be fine.
And I think that's how you cover your bases. You have that, $45, $50 one. And then you have one maybe at 60 or 70, and then one maybe at 100, and there's your and people buy what they can afford. And then what you do because they're digital, you also have upgrades. So if you bought the standard, you can spend an extra 20, whatever the amount is, and upgrade.
If you go to Steam, you can get and we even had upgrade packages on Star Citizen stuff. You could get an upgrade package to include Squadron at one point. So
absolutely agree with that. So I think you're going to find that it's going to go pretty standard. They've become pretty standardized now across the.
Yeah, I mean, my argument is, and this is just me being a bit of a troll, but also, and I think this works, is you sell Squadron 42 before a certain date. Say when you do pre-orders again, you lower the price from $45 to $42.42. So you can buy Squadron 42 at $42.42 if you pre-order from the release date until an announcement until a certain time. Because that is a joke that writes itself.
They do that on Steam too, don't they? Like when a game comes out, you can do it. Oh, it's like a 10% discount, and then it goes up. Yeah. So they'll do sales in that as well. And there will be people that will wait till the sale to play it. They go, oh, this game is awesome, but I'm not sure, and I'll wait. This Fast Cart guy on Twitch, man, he keeps agreeing with you. He never agrees with me though. Cheeky old bugger. Right, next question. Let's have a let's go.
Let's go through this Nightbot.
Yep.
Sliding Buttress.
Yep.
Do you guys know what the Hermes actually does?
Okay, well, I think at the moment we can confirm that it's some form of cargo ship because of the tractor beam that we saw in the sneak peek. I think the other, again, this is just me talking to a few people, but it seems to be a data runner as well. But what we think is, how the Mercury Star runner is kind of like cargo and data running? This is less data running, more cargo. So it's like an in-between between a standard cargo ship and the MSR.
I agree. I think that. I don't know if it's going to have info running, though. That's the thing.
Well, I went through it with Grim, and once I showed Grim, because Grim had never been in with game with me last week, and I took him in, and I did it with Bops as well. So if I did it again, it'll be 3 weeks where we've gone into game and looked at it. But if you look at the panels in the back of the Apollo, next time you're in the Apollo, the cargo room in the Apollo, have a look.
Yeah, you showed those to me. Yeah.
They're clearly data running modules. It's so obvious.
Okay.
And then the tractor beam is on a track. So you essentially can pull the boxes to the back, and then you can pull them up into the ship and then go along the track and then place them. And the cargo should roughly be on par with the raft, but internalized.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So it's all... That's kind of where I'd be going. So think of it like a raft with a bit of data running. And now we know the raft is going up in price as well. So what was the old one? $140? So yeah. So again, say that goes up to like 190 or whatever. I'm imagining this thing is probably a little cheaper than the triage, especially because the triage and the Medivac were 5% increase in price. They knew that thing was too expensive, so they didn't. We don't see a lot of outliers when it comes to price. They're usually 10 to 20%. The Polaris went up 30, and the triage only went up 5. They were the first time I'd ever seen 2 outliers outside that price range, pretty much ever. So I would have to think that the Hermes is probably going to be cheaper than the triage. What was it? Was it 250 and 275, if I remember correctly, or something like that?
I think that's about right.
Yeah,
it's
so
in the 200s.
Like 225.
200 to 225. I can see a 200 war bond, 225 like credit or something like that.
Or and if you want to say it's cargo and data running, maybe it's the same price as the triage at 250 or something like that. But it's going to be in that lower end of the 200. I think in the first 50%, 200 to 250, especially if the raft goes up to like 190. Is what I'm hearing from some people, but I'm hoping the raft doesn't go that high. I'm hoping it's like 175 or something like that. I'll have to wait and see. Yeah. All right. MTL51. God, that L really tricked me. Can you make a poll if yes, no, Execute should dress up for stream and wear a vest and tie? No, we can't.
He's done it before. You just have to be here at the right times. I'm not gonna say you come in on April 1st, but I'm saying it's not impossible for X to show up dressed. I think once as a joke.
Yeah, I think my suit and tie I'd probably make it out of paper or something like that, just to be really funny. I'd get like brown paper and make myself a suit, and then
you had like a black button-up shirt and a tie at one point. I
yes,
remember you dressed up like that.
But it was so tight because I hadn't worn it since the funeral that I had to have my buttons undone. But we did that for that giveaway. I had a mafia look going because I had a black pinstripe shirt and the white thing, and I did it for that giveaway. But I don't own a suit anymore because of that was the first time I'd worn that in 10 years, and it was again, if I had another funeral or something to go to now, I'd just go out and buy a new suit, spend like $100 and just buy a shirt and pants.
I'm with you there.
I just don't wear them enough to creep in it.
I need to, like, this thing's falling apart. Like, if you can see here, this is ripped already, and I need to go back to losing some more weight so I can actually like fit some of the stuff, but I also need to get new like actual tailored suits instead of just stuff I could buy. With
the top hat and the wand, how much did the magician set cost you when you brought that back in the day?
Like it was on sale on Amazon, kind of thing.
I stole it from the local circus. I thought you were going to say that anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Thorn asks,
but you wear those to school, yeah? Like that's just your school getup, because that's what Algrid is. You guys are both teachers, so it's just a part of your, like, Algrid literally tells me he just gets up for after a show and goes off to school.
Sometimes I wear this outfit. Sometimes I strip it down to just a tie and the shirt.
Yeah,
sometimes just the shirt. But
and he does.
I do this for the stream, but yes, I do also have a dress code. Like I just got back and I'm still wearing my my like formal pants. So
and I'm just around my house stuff. So I'm just got some shorts and a shirt on, and then in winter you'll see the hoodie come out, and I'll put some jeans on or something like that. It's just
How hot is it there right now? Are we talking like?
Hey Google, what's the temperature?
Celsius?
21. But the other day I was here sitting in 22 degrees and I had the air conditioner on. And,
it's not too bad.
And my friends had a broken air conditioner, and they were in Fairfield, which is about half an hour south of where Alfred lives, and they were in a 42-degree heat wave. I've got
for my American friends.
Oh, this air conditioner. Oh, what a shame. I was just giving them so much shit.
20 degrees Celsius, 20 to 25 degrees, 23 Celsius is about 70 degrees. 75 Fahrenheit. So 40 degrees Celsius is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Like I think 35 is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like 120 degrees. That's like hottest it can get in Texas.
Hang on, I'll ask. Hey Google, what's 42 degrees in Fahrenheit? 107.6.
107.
107.6. So 107.5 basically. That's
the only reason why I know 21 is because I did I taught chemistry 1 year. Do not ask a history teacher to teach chemistry, but I did. So I had to learn what room temperature is, and I think it's between 21 and 23 degrees Celsius, something like that. 25 degrees Celsius, but yeah.
That's the weird thing. I'm so used to the cold, right? The normal human body temperature is 22 degrees. And if the outside world is at the normal human body temperature, I feel hot. Yeah, I feel a little bit hot now, and it's 21.
You also live in the Arctic Circle, so it's a little different for you.
Yeah. But that was the other thing I learned when we went to London or to the UK. London is actually colder than here.
Yeah,
where I was
higher up in the circle.
Yeah, where I was with John, I couldn't get over how cold it was. I was like, "It's a piss week." They're always complaining about how cold it is in Tassie.
Yeah.
It's got nothing on here. So I literally crossed the world, and I was wearing the same thing when I left and when I arrived, and when I was in Manchester, I was wearing exactly the same shit as when I left. And when I came back, I was wearing the same shit. The only time I felt hot at all was when I landed in Dubai, and there's literally like desert outside. Right? It was like, it was just crazy.
If they ever do a Citizen Con in Montreal, you'll be very, very cold. Yeah. Montreal is very north. It's the northernmost you can get without getting to like barely livable conditions. That line along the border between the U.S. and Canada.
Well, yes, like right now, you guys are in winter. We're seeing a lot of footage of like full on snow where you guys. We don't see that here ever. Like it snows where I live, right? But it's like up on the mountains and stuff. And even at the very south of Tasmania, which is like the utter southmost of Australia, it's just not like my city. It snows probably once every 15 years. For one day every 15 years.
Yeah.
It's so rare. It's not funny. But then you go look at London. They have it. That's kind of roughly about how much it snows there as well. But the further north you go, like Scotland, it snows all the time.
Oh yeah. Scotland's on the same I think it's on the same latitude as like Upper Norway. To give you context, and like that's where like they have reindeer farms and where you have significant amounts of time where like there's just like the daylight is super short in some places. So
from what I'm hearing, they may rename it. But once you guys take it over, I think you'll call it Goldland. I think that's probably what it'd be called. But you'll be able to visit now. God. Anyway, we've literally gone into politics and weather. This stream has tangented way too much. Right. Parker.
Parker. What are the chances we get a better skin system close to 1.0 hex reset? We already answered that. Probably low. I do think we'll get a set of colors you can always use when we have crafting, because they did seem to imply that you will be able to change the colors of your ships with crafting to craft skins, but I think it'll be probably a limited set of colors.
And I've talked about this too. Like I'd like to see them to move to more like selling patterns. So that can come with the colors, obviously, but like the camo pattern would be a really good one to buy, and then you can just recolor it to the other paints. I think they're a little bit. I don't know how to put this right. It's like when you heard Ben talk about the skins. I don't want someone to take those really good ships who've done and put awful colors on it. But at the end of the day, isn't that player's choice? So wouldn't you want to have like, we recommend these colors, but you can do whatever you want? And that's
love that.
That's a really
I would love that.
That's a really fine line to me.
CAG's going to do that.
No, I don't think they are, and I think that's a little bit. It's a little bit hand-holdy. It's a little bit arrogant, to say we know better than you. Like, and I agree, they probably do know better. But at the same time, isn't it their choice to stuff up? And
can we at least be the judge of if it's ugly or not? Because plenty of people be like, it's beautiful, and it's ugly for everybody else.
Well, do you know what I would do? I'd actually put a gameplay effect in, right? So if you pick a color that doesn't go with another color,
that CIG doesn't think goes with another color,
it wears faster or something. Something. Oh yeah, we'll just get rid of it really quickly.
NPCs or ATCs go like, man, that's an ugly shit.
We'll pull you over. Where did you steal that from? You know, well, why are you trying to hide? You know, so add some
piece of junk.
Add some negative effects into it. You know, so to discourage. Don't say no, you can't. Like I can pull out a gun and shoot in the middle of terror, but I'm going to go to jail, right? So don't say no, but give strong deterrence for it. And I think that's way better, because then again, as you said, you can craft paint. They're going to be people that come in that like, I can totally, you'd agree with this. There are going to be people that all they do is paint other people's ships and get paid for it.
Yeah, if you can do well enough.
Yeah.
Like, the problem I have is I feel like CIG's artists are not able to let go of the fact that at the end of the day, this is an MMO, and MMOs are all based off of creativity. And if you do not let people be creative with their stuff, they will not play your fucking MMO. That is always the end game is always fashion. One of the reasons why the patch bundles are so popular is because a lot of them are like armor sets that people like the colors of. And it's like, if you let people craft them on their own, they'll do it, and they'll make their own colors. But
that's it, and that's why they're probably never going to do the hex codes now, because there's too much money in selling the skins, right? And as soon as you allow people, like, even if you sold the paint, people would just buy the colors they like, and then they'd never buy it ever again. And so they see it as this, well, we can keep making them forever. Are we going to give up ongoing money? It's a tough thing. Look, they said, I think the last time I heard them talk about it, where they said that is still a part of the plan. They just want to limit it, what people, because it was Ben and John that talked about, I think it was in September, is the last time I heard. And they said they just want to limit what people can do. And that means that's not going to come to much after, because they're going to have to go there and go through and limit what people can do. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's another way they can persuade people to try not to use certain colors, and like, and again, you might hate the fluoro pink and fluoro green, but there's some guy out there that loves the Back to the Future skateboard look, and that's what he wants on his Mustang, you know. So
let the man have his nostalgia. God damn it! I love purple and gold. Purple and gold don't always go well together, and especially in certain patterns, it'll look awful.
They work,
but fuck it, I will do it. You know, it depends on the shade of purple. Like, if you get a really light shade and a really dark gold, it can look a little pukey. But you know,
well, it's like the headphones here. I'm a big fan of black, red, and gold. Like, black, red, and gold actually goes really well together. So yeah, you gotta. It's kind of like what he said with the Perseus, so like, where he learned from the Perseus what he should have done with the Polaris, right? And I think at some point, being an art director like Ben, you've got to let your baby go. You just got to put it out there, and it flies, it fails, it fails. And again, being a game director, can't you fix that? You know, can't you make changes after the fact?
Can't you admit you were wrong?
Yeah, well,
you know, you can't, like Ben did. Ben admitted he was wrong. He's like, this is better, and he changed it.
He's learning, right? They're all learning. They are still learning, right? And that's good of him. I was really, I don't want to say proud, because that sounds a bit obnoxious, but I was just, to see the growth was nice.
I still think that you can still use the system we have now and just make the skins patterns, and then just replace the colors with whatever you want. So if people purchase the skins, it's like, cool, you have the pattern. And you can just fill in that pattern however you want to. I think some people might be upset because some of the patterns are basically, some of the skins are basically the same thing, but colors different already. Like, but I mean, it's like, okay, then just buy one of those skins and go for it. The advantage is you get to keep those colors that came with it in the first place, and you can apply it otherwise. So, you know,
I don't think, no matter what they do, I can't think of games that are worse. Like, so right now, That's where I can bring this up. Hang on. So you play Darktide, right?
Yeah.
You're right. So one of the things I hate with Darktide, right, is they will bring out a skin, and then sometimes later they'll bring out another skin, and it literally looks almost no different. And they'll sell the whole thing again. So there's been ones where, like, and it's not until you zoom in to realize there's like one of them is really dark blue, and the other is black, but they literally almost look like identical. And in a game where you're running around in the dark, it makes makes no difference. But what they did recently was they had these skins that they put like a skull on to say this is the high-end premium cosmetic, meaning there will be no variants of it. Well, now they've broken that, and they have now started selling multicolored variants of those skins. And these are skins at the time that were like, to buy one of them for each character would have cost you like $100+ Australian, so that'd be like what, $70 US. And now they've just gone, oh, by the way, you can buy them all again for the same price. And now you get them, instead of being like yellow and blue like the default ones were, now they're red and black and white and blue and things like that. And it's just like, why? You kind of sold it telling us that this would be unique, and now the whole thing's starting to reckon money. Ever since Tencent took them over, just remember, money people are very different from game people, and a lot of what the money talks. It's just that simple, right? And that's why I was always worried with Star Citizen and them taking other people's money, because then people can then dictate what happens, right? And we never would have got the board. We never would have got the board, you know? So I almost wonder how much was Chris's vision reined in. Now, you can argue whether that was good or bad, or, you know, stuff like that.
I do think that that's the case right now. There's the reason why that we're having a 1.0 discussion and having a Squadron 42 in 2026 is because of the board. It's because of the investors. There is now pressure to publish, which, you know, I say is good, but like looking at the numbers that's going to be owed to them in 2027 or 2028 when they actually, like, when the full deal goes through, holy fuck, it's like $500,000, half a billion dollars. It's like, it's insane amount of money that it's going to be owed.
So 65. So you're telling me that they gave basically 56 million, and they're going to get about 500 million out of it?
Well, each investor is going to get about 200 million out of it. So like 150
That's like
to 5
times. Million. That's like 5 to 10 times the investment.
But over 10 years. So,
okay, over 10 years, but still, that's a lot of money. You put in 50 and you take out 500. Man, I want those odds. I still think they should have gone with us. I think back then, if they said, "Oh, we need money," and everyone could have invested, we would have kept investing rather than buying ships. We would have invested. But anyway,
and there's a couple of different ones. There's another one that's like 23 million, and the other one was like the Kohler's like 56. But we'll see. They may even renegotiate and continue forward, especially if Squad 42 does well. Because they also get dividends from their investments, so they get money back. A portion of the profits. So
question we missed here. Demneris official says, has CIG made any comments about base building being delivered in 2026? I think 2027, from what I know this year, is crafting requires base building, inventory rework, and engineering. Yep.
They haven't said anything.
But engineering is kind of, if you look at I can kind of see what's happening if you look at the roadmap. Hang on, give me a second.
No, I agree with you. I think.
Go ahead. You go ahead. I'm just going to bring it up while we talk. Did I mute you or mute myself? I've done something. Hang on, Paul. I did. Talk again. Talk again. I muted myself and muted you. I hit the F11 key when I was going full screen. So please say again. Yep. So
everything that's being built this year is setups for base building.
Agreed.
Even Starkitect. Starkitect is what they use for like the new outposts and stuff like that they're working on alongside Genesis. Chris mentioned it in this letter to the chairman. Was that we have that we're working on Starkitect. So like, you know, and we know that Starkitect is sort of just required for base building. So like all of these things is set up for base building. It's clear that CIG sees base building as end game.
Yeah. So engineering and crafting back around this time stopped here with base building. right? And now mysteriously they've been extended forward to March, but base building has stayed back here. FPS radar and scanning has stopped here as well. So it's almost like they've paused those two to push these ones forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just saying. I think what's going to happen is they're going to come back to base building and come back to scanning at a potentially later date. But
I do think scanning is going to end up this year, but we'll see. Like, because they didn't mention it. Chris didn't mention it in the under the channel. Well, and I feel like scanning is parity with Squadron. So if Squadron's coming this year,
it's even more important than that. It's needed for crafting. How do you find resources if you can't collect them? Or how do you collect resources if you can't find them? My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, and you're, especially with the quality, you're going to even be able to scan for the quality rather than just rolling the dice. What quality is this? You know.
That's it.
All right, next question is Project Gnome 1961, who asks, didn't they say last year during one of the ship videos that even the ship devs don't have the tools to use the hex codes, easily color ships, and is that tech still needs to be delivered? If they did, they were lying. Because we've known that they've had that tech for years. They showed off literally they literally showed it off by taking, I think, the Saber or was it a Gladius, and they spun it around and they showed like 100 different color combinations for that one ship, and that was the tool they had. It's just that they I'm sure that tool needs to be updated, but it's clear that's what they use when they do the skins.
Mum said she'd be free at 1:30, so we got 20 minutes.
All right, let's hit it hard. GBT 5001.
Yep.
Or 50,001 asks, can you explain the difference between the patch numbers like 3.0, 4.0, and the point patches, example 4.1, and double point patches, example 4.4.1?
We did that.
I think he asked it earlier. He was the one who asked it earlier, and then he wanted to get some clarification. So we're good.
The points are made up and they just don't matter. That's what it is now. That's what it's become.
That is literally the answer. And thank you, Devil Dog Gamer, for 3 months in advance at tier 1 on Twitch.
Oh, thank you. I missed that. Sorry. Thank you.
Aiden asks, hypothetically, could the Ironclad 2204 SCU be released in February if the command module tech's done, as the Ironclad's progress into Gray Box in the October monthly report? I don't know, just curious.
Tech done, tech implemented is two different things.
Yes. And it's also important to remember that Gray Box needs another step, which is LOD 0. And then on top of that, it needs final art. And each of those steps is at least a month in work. And so even if it's entered into Gray Box in October, November, the only month it would be been worked on is November and half of December. And so you're talking about, like, just now it would have been 2 months, and that would be a fucking sprint and a fucking half if they were able to get those massive ships done into LOD 0 and final art in that amount of time. That would have been a Herculean effort.
And that's a big bit of tech for that ship, that command module. It's a make or break thing, and I think you'd probably agree they'll probably now build at least another ship that utilizes that tech too. It won't just be for the Caterpillar and the Ironclad. That they like to try and reuse things. So one of the ones that we've talked about is a ship like Obi-Wan Kenobi's ring jumper ship that's from Star Wars. Something maybe like that, or like I could also see them using that tech in the Endeavor's cab with the trailer, things like that. So
drop pods.
There's another one. Yep.
Life pods.
Yeah,
escape pods.
That's a really good point, because you got to eject the pod out and then you want to be able to steer it a bit. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Not wrong at all.
Yeah. So you'd have to
plus it needs life support and all that kind of stuff too.
So. Yeah. So there are the many benefits that will come from that, but it's how they reutilize tech as well. So interesting to see. Right. 44. Yep, says, what do you think the Arc Raiders style PvP, PvE game matchmaking? Is it possible to implement something similar with SC? I think SC is a lot bigger player base in one space. I don't think you can really do like an ELO system or an aggravation system. But that said, don't you already have high, medium, and low security space? So it kind of is doing that.
And they do have matchmaker system.
Yeah.
The matchmaking system, though, prioritizes players in your friends list. So, like, I think right now the way it works is that if you just join a game, it will find a place that has if you have like a friends list, it'll look at your friends list and go, how many of this person's friends are on one server, and it'll just like prioritize whatever the highest server is. So when you hit best, sometimes it'll literally drop you into a server that's on the other side of the planet, simply because that's where everyone is.
Yeah.
So, because I've found myself bumping into the same people over and over again, and I'm like, why is that same person in my server? What's the odds that I just randomly bumped into them out of my 250 people in a server that holds
ping as well
plus people.
Ping is a factor as well. Though, like if I do best, I often get Australia, but I have also been pulled into American servers depending on time of day and stuff like that. Yeah, you're not wrong.
So there are some matchmaking services, but I think the only thing you would see from that sort of system that's in Arc Raiders would be raids and for like looking for group, and when they have the dynamic meshing in, that's really what that would be in.
And they've talked about the player rating system as well, so it's probably going to be a lot to do with that player rating system too. You can search for other players and say, well, I don't want to play with anyone that's under
this
3
low
stars
or whatever.
Yeah, because again, if you're a criminal, you probably don't care, just put me with anyone because I'm a criminal. So yeah, I have to wait and see. That's all you've really got to go on there is what other games do. And I think it's a different game. Maybe an Arena Commander would be more like
maybe.
Yeah.
There's so much potential in Arena Commander. CIG could go very, very well in Arena Commander.
Well, I know
they could make an entire game that would do really well.
Well, I know Space talked about that. He talked about doing an Arena Commander demo on Steam, like as the demo. I think you're better off.
Squadron is supposed to ship with Arena Commander. That's part of its package is Arena Commander. So
yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that all shakes out. It's going to be a very interesting year, taking all this time period and all these things that have been said, but then all the things that were said that have totally not lies, just not been the same as they were initially stated to be. So it's going to be
they've evolved or changed.
Yeah. Well, again, like we said with the older ships, the more the older they are, the likely they are to change. Offset Studio.
Offset?
Yep. Question is, PU going to lose out on some love again when CIG goes back to creating episode 2?
Like Squadron Part 2.
Yeah, behind enemy lines. So the original plan, and the last time they ever talked about it, and they've talked about it multiple times over the years, was always to split into 2 teams and do 50-50. And I think that was, yes, that can change, but they often, when they tell us something, they won't tell us unless it, change what they've said unless it changes. That's literally out of John Crew's mouth when I sat down with him. I said, so if you don't tell us something, it hasn't changed. He goes, that's correct. We'll tell you if it changes. And they'll either come out and say it's changed, or that's the plan as it is now. Split into 2 teams, 50-50. And that last talk I remember was Todd Pappy and Brian Chambers saying that. I don't know if you remember correctly. But.
And in the last year, I've talked to people at CIG who work on the Squadron and work on Star Citizen, and they've confirmed things that I've heard from the CIG developers for a long time. They are different. They're different company. They're different, but basically different companies. They're completely different teams, and they do not do a lot of crossover unless they're asked to, and it has to be a volunteer basis. So like they'll see Squadron folks come over to the PU to help test the PU, but it's not always the case opposite for like QA. And you'll have people who built a bunch of the Squadron systems work in Star Citizen, and they come back to Star Squadron. I found out there was an interview with Jared where Jared said that exact same thing happened in 2025. Was that the reason why there wasn't a lot of feature work done is because the feature team was pulled to go work on Squadron to fix up some things, and now they're back in Star Citizen, as we can see with all the stuff they're adding. So.
And again, you'll get, like, when the Squadron comes out, there'll probably be a bit of musical chairs. People that want to break from Squadron, so they'll go work on Star Citizen, and some Star Citizen people go over. So, yeah. It is what it is. It's the creative types.
And I think you'll see Squadron the people who work on Squadron, because they're gonna take a break. They'll spend a month or two doing patch fixes, getting it into like a little bit of balance, and then a lot of them are just gonna take a vacation for like 3 to 6 months and then come back.
Apparently, I'm just reading a first time chat. Moonrider in chat says all waves open to PTU.
Yeah, they've been open. It's been open for a couple. Yeah, so it's all open now.
Well, no, the patch that dropped earlier today that I had to download.
Yeah,
apparently
that's all wave.
Hey, bro, I was sleeping. Give me a break. No one had told me. And clearly, no one had told Moonrider.
To be fair, they posted it in chat, but it was like 15 minutes after we started. They opened it all.
Well, that's cool. Get in there, try out the Aurora, try out Lamp. I had a lot of fun. Fun laughing at people going, "How do I use lamps?" And I go, "Well, usually just walk up and flick the switch." They go, "No, that type of lamp." And I go, "Oh, you mean lamp, not lamps, lamp." Yeah. There's a big difference between that S, bro. But just giving them shit. It was pretty fun. But no, it is pretty cool to see. And what I would recommend you do is go out in the middle of the night, land somewhere, and then get out of the ship but leave it on. That's trippy. You just start walking around and you're going, what? This is like actually on the screen? It's not an effect. And then you walk outside the ship and you can look back through. So you can see that if a fighter turns it on, for example, it's going to probably give away their position more.
Yeah. Someone on the Reddit, because someone said something about Reddit, so I went through the Reddit. It looks like you're getting like on the Aurora, it looks like you're getting a tan when you turn on lamp. It looks like like those tanning booths, and that's sort of like a blue glow that's hitting your face.
Well, you can tell as time goes on too, they're going to do different tech levels. They're going to have different technology involved. Like
you'll have like a small screen which is way up rather than the whole fucking screen. Yeah.
Well, you look at Misk, right? Misk is almost like night vision. It's like totally gray, right? But most of their ships are a bit more industrial focused. But then you go look at something like Kruger, and it's really green. And when you do the scan, it looks really technological. Like the other thing is turn your normal lights on and do scans. They all look different and amazing in different ways. So I would like to see how that's going to evolve. I think it is going to be one of those things that really show the different tech levels of ships. We'll have to wait and see. I can only imagine that's where we're going to go. Hey, Grim, nice to see you, man. Drop in if you want.
Yeah. Grim said he's disappointed in its implementation of VFX standpoint. You have a high standard though.
Yeah, Grim has a very high standard, and as I said, it's tier 0. It's tier 0. It's 100% tier 0.
It doesn't work on all the ships even. Like I don't think it works on the freelancers, but like it does work on a bunch of ships. So
I read that Grim as you're baked, not hey based. I read that as in hey I'm baked.
Yeah.
I read that so wrong. Anyway, all right. Cody Fox 2876 says, if the Hermes is basically superior to the MSR in every way, do you think the MSR owners will have a valid complaint? Well, I don't think it is going to be. I think it's going to be more half and half, and I think the Hermes is a lot more cargo focused. That's just from what I've seen and kind of worked out. I could be utterly wrong, but if you brought out a ship, how would you feel if they had an MSR and it was completely in direct composition? I just don't see them doing that. I see there being a differentiator there. And again, when I go through and work out the amount of cargo that ship can fit in it, the other thing is you can put a vehicle in MSR. You can't put a vehicle in the Hermes.
Nope.
So you're getting some drawbacks there already. And here's the other thing. What's to say in the future they don't sell a module so you can take the cargo out completely?
Yeah. Well, you and I both know that the fucking Mercury needs an update. It desperately needs an interior rework. But
we did a ship scrutiny on it. At least it came out like 2 weeks ago. And then I think last week was one you and I did. I think this week. No, that's
last week we did. The last one was was how you.
This is what I hate about. What I hate about pre-recorded shows, man. Like doing like 6 weeks of them. I can't even remember what I've recorded at this point. So happy when Agrit's back, where I can just go back to do it once a week. What do we got next? Let's have a look at this. That's the 27th. That's the 20th. What's the date? 7th. So that'll be it. So the next one is a Reclaimer review ship scrutiny. So we're doing the Reclaimer, and then the week after that is the Fix My Org. First Fix My Fleet in over a year, and it's an entire org. The episode me and Al have been trying to do for like 7 years. And we finally found someone to do it, and we sat down, and it's one of the longest episodes we ever did. It went for almost 2 hours. was very, not quite as long as the tier list shows, but definitely longer than normal episodes. And we've been organising that in the background too, haven't we, this week? Fighting over dates, and I can't make 4:30 a.m. and shit like this. So trying to get everyone together has been a nightmare, but it looks like we're going to be doing that by the end of the month.
That's been a nightmare. The problem is it's the same problem with everybody who's had a D&D group, is trying to coordinate like 6 people to get at the same time, especially across the planet. Is so difficult.
We're literally in every, like, you know, Australia, US, and UK. That's literally every
the
corner.
whole planet.
Yeah, so it's rather annoying. And then and what really stuffed me up with the one this week is I kept thinking of Space being in Turkey, and then he's actually in the US now because he goes 4:30, and I went, oh shit, he's not in Turkey anymore, and I was like, god damn it. And then they go, like, I'm always trying to ask for windows, and they always give me, does this time work? And I was like, no, you're gonna give me a Windows because I got a cross reference. And then they finally click again and remember how it works, and then we all got on the same page really quickly. But it looks like it'll be the end of the month for that one.
And average. So
we'll be back as well. So hopefully we can get everyone. Well, it'll be the first. We've never got everyone in. There's always been one person missing every single episode. You missed one year. You missed last year. I'm
gonna have to. I'm gonna have to tell Radar Ranger and Build and Play and Bob that we're not gonna be able to do the Captain Stable that day, or we'll have to do it earlier. Yeah, because it's that's right when the Captain Stable will be happening.
Yeah, well, and that's the problem. Like every time we've done this, it's inconvenient for one of us. It always is.
Yes.
I think this will be the first time in a while me and Algo don't get shafted, because normally me and him are getting up at like 5 a.m. To pull it off. But it looks like we might be able to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Even this week. Well, that's still too early for me. Bob's has got to get up at 6. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, right. Algrid should be back next week though too. Luna Maria. I just saw you there, so could just. Right.
Yeah, she always asks about Al.
Yeah, so. She does. She's I don't know, his other love interest. Yeah.
We did mention we did miss the Silver Surfer asked, with the dawn of crafting, will we be able to buy stuff off other players, specific resources such as refined material?
Yeah, well, see, I went on the Launch Sequence Space Tomatoes podcast, and I literally said to him, I really think we need refining this year. And he took that, and I don't know. I often find when I go on there, the next week or two, he does an episode about what we talked about, and he did. He did a whole episode on the Expanse and refining and all that type of thing. And
I did the same thing.
Once he well, that's how it works, isn't it? Like we bounce off each other, you know. So, and he basically went deeper than I'd even considered, and there was certain things like it's really pivotal. Like we really need it this year, because if we don't have it, it's just going to make things really, really difficult. And again, especially when it comes to trading, as some in that question, is how are you going to trade with other people? If you've got to trade from, like deliver CCU boxes to people and stuff like that, that's going to be annoying as hell. But
yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so it also shows that we probably need a bit of some way to drop off.
It's clunky. Yeah, there needs to be a way to drop onto a secure location where you can then buy and sell goods, and then they can get access to those goods because you've done a sale.
Almost like an escrow system, like the starting of a market. And that's also what came out last week. Grim had forgot about TDD, the one at Art Corp and the one at Hurston. And I took him in game, and I took him to the one at Hurston, and he's like, oh. He totally forgot about it, and there were other people in chat that knew it. I was like, "Who knows where I'm taking him?" And there were people that had remembered, and there was others that had forgot. So,
I still think my suggestion is one of the best suggestions, which is we have a bunch of freaking empty spaces when it comes to these convention centers. That's her, right?
This is the leftover. No. I don't know if you know, because I didn't tell you, but Jack's passed away. He unexpectedly had to get him put down like 2 weeks ago. He turns out the little cut on his nose. And actually the last time he appeared was on the launch sequence that I was on with Space. And then literally that was on the Monday, and by the Sunday he was gone. And so yeah, Space sent me a copy of that, so I've actually got it. But he Yeah, she's loving it. She gets all this extra food, all these extra pats. But she's not quite the same cat he was. She's nowhere near as action orientated. She's the lazy one.
She needs another cat to play with. Is what it is.
No. They were very separate, but they only kind of really came together for food. And she'd always try and still. Yeah. She was a very food focused cat. Like she'd always want extra food and stuff like that. Where he was just always chill and stuff like that. But then he also ate weird things, like he liked milk and twisties and ice cream and all that. So she won't eat any of that. She's just meat. That's it. Meat. Yeah. She likes the dry food and the meat, but that's about it. But yeah, she loves they both love a good pat, but that's about all they really shared in common. So yeah, I'll love her till she goes, but she's. I've had 7 cats in total, and Jax was just a completely he was up here, and all the other cats were here. These are cats, and then there was Jax, and I've met multiple people that have had a lot of cats, and there's always one cat that is just league above the others, and he was just. I can't even explain the combo. It was just a really weird cat, but a really cool cat. And most cats are cool. I
had put down my cat a couple years ago, so last year. So I know the feeling.
Would you
the first cat we ever got? So, but yes, we have.
But in the end,
Jack.
In the end, when I was sitting there looking him in the eyes, and he was telling me he was in pain, every time I think of that, I go, I did the right thing. I don't know if it was the same for you, but I had this peace of mind that he was telling me he had to go. And so I don't get sad. I just think about, we start talking about all the cool shit he did. And I always, I didn't tell you guys about this. I did tell Grim, but then I didn't tell Stream. So I want to tell you the coolest thing he ever did. Did I tell you about the Wolverine claws, guys? Did I tell
I don't know.
So he was on, him and his sister on the bed here. And he literally dives just randomly. I was patting him, and out of nowhere, he just randomly dives off the bed a full 1.5 meters. And he's got his claws out like Wolverine, like this. And he's got his, the little cat claws. And there's a wasp punctured all 3 freaking claws straight through the wasp. And he's just licking it like this. Coolest thing I've ever seen a cat ever do.
Jesus.
So think about that: 1.5 meters, and you grab a wasp, all 3 claws. Straight through a wasp. And I was like, the force, and then to go through a wasp. Think about a wasp. You can flick a wasp across the room, and he pierced it. I was like, holy shit. So I don't know if I told you guys, but it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen an animal do that. So as I said, he was just on a different level, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry, bud.
No, it's cool because again, and as we did last week, I didn't want this to be a sub story thing. What we were doing, we were talking about all the cool things animals did. So there was a guy talking about his lizard, and dogs and all this stuff. So it wasn't this sub story, but I think because I put a cat as the thumbnail, there was just less viewers, right? Because it didn't seem Star Citizen-y, but it wasn't a sub story. It was. I even Grim was here. It was it was really enjoyable episode because people were doing all these little statements about their animals, and we were even interweaving the Star Citizen in with it, and it's really enjoyable. I did it more of a celebration of his life type of thing because that's how he'd want to go out. And I talked about my grandmother when she died. My mum's side of the family, it was very morbid traditional funeral, but my grandmother. They had the biggest rager, and there was 70-year-olds drunk as skunks, just massive rager, and that's how I want to go out. And I know Jax would be the same. So yeah, it was a great time. As Grim just said there in chat, it was a really good time. It was not sad. It was a celebratory thing.
I will add my story to this, which is my cat Abby. When she passed, when we had Jack, our cat, when he was a kitten, she would use him as distraction so that she could get food. So if I or my wife would be eating something, Jack, a little kitten, would walk up and go mew, mew, mew. And so he'd be like, oh, cute kitty. And so we were paying attention to Jack over here. And then Abby would sneak up around the side and try to reach her paw and grab something and then run away and try to eat it. Yeah. And every time she failed, because it became so obvious it was happening, every time it failed, we'd be like, Jack, that's cute. You turn and look at Abby, and Abby's like, what?
there's some
What?
there's some really good compilations on YouTube of cats almost being caught. Look them up; they're really funny. Like it was like a cat like trying to get food, and then he's like, "Oh no, I'm stretching,
I'm stretching." Yeah,
and
like every single time. And every single time she got caught, Jack would walk up being like, "Did I do good?" And she would smack him, be like, "Dumb kid, you're supposed to be cuter."
Yeah. Like what do you call it? Pinky in the brain.
Yeah. You idiot. You idiot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
She was like a mob boss. She ran the other cats like a mob boss because she hated kittens. But she had to raise 3, and she was like, "Ugh, fine. If I'm gonna have to raise you, you're gonna be my minions." So...
Oh dear, no, they're good eggs. All right. Jason Giles says, "How are you guys doing?" We're doing. Well, I'm doing good. How are you, Paul?
I'm good.
I am.
It's a 3-day weekend, so
yeah,
I'm good.
I'm optimistic about this year. I'll put it that way. What's the word I just intrepidation? I think I would use.
These last few weeks, especially with Star Citizen, has been very, very good for just because for those of you who know who've been here a long time, January is usually a dead month. And they're really deciding to let's go, let's punch it.
The quiet period has not been as quiet as I thought it was going to be. It was. 2, maybe 3 weeks, maybe. And traditionally speaking, we wouldn't really see a lot of patch action in January. We wouldn't really see that kind of kick off again to like March. So knowing that we're kind of almost a month and a half ahead of where I'd normally see content, not going to be as quiet as we thought.
Yeah, especially with them going into another tech preview next week.
True. Yeah, true. Nico Catty says, "Do you think with the MSR they could put crafting in the not so secret storage space?"
I don't know. I don't think they do that only because I think they want to redo the interior of the MSR. And I want to be clear. I think that the front of the MSR, the living space, is fine. It could use a little bit of refinements, but it's probably okay. It seems very much like the Intrepid is based off of the living space of the MSR, for instance. It's everything behind the living space that sucks. So I don't see them adding crafting to the MSR. I think it's more likely that they redo the MSR's interior and then do an MSR variant.
Right, I'm going to turn the quietness off on my phone so when Mum messages, she can tell me she's ready. Right. We don't have that many questions left. Yeah, we've probably got less than 10. Let
me go through them real quick and we'll answer them rapid fire.
Radio Echo? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Radar Echo. Oh no, that's a wrong question.
Yep.
SA asks question. Were there need to generate capital and physical collector's edition physical merchandise sells? What are your opinion on the return of physical boxes and collector's items at launch for Squadron? We already kind of talked about that. I don't think it happens at launch. I think it happens afterwards though.
Yeah. From the people I've talked to, not now, but later, because they have to be a thing because they did promise some physical merch, but it's like get game out, then you can do physical stuff later. And they might even sell them earlier, but you won't be getting the physical stuff until later. Yeah.
Dan V's official asks, do you think CIG will launch Castra at Squadron 42 launch? Do you think they also will sell the battle cruiser? I think they sell the battle cruiser at Invictus.
The last chance to sell it is Invictus. There's just like no other place you can kind of sell it. It's a big ticket item. That's the last big one before release. I could see them trying to push Castro around the same time Squadron launches, if it's launching at the end of the year, because that's a military location, military Squadron Break 2, Yep.
Easy stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Here's another question. How much over the original pledge price will CIG ask for Squadron 42?
We call that guy
answer that.
We call that guy Donnie, by the way. He's got like the most complicated name. So what we see how it says Donich in it, so we just call him Donnie. That's what we now call him. Just call him Donnie.
I always say Ramon, but I think it's wrong. But
we just call him Donnie. We just got used to calling him Donnie. He explained what his name was in chat one time. We go, right, we're calling you Donnie. How much over the original price was CIG asked for Squadron? We talked about that, but yeah.
That's the whole thing we talked about.
DevilDog.game says there are rumors, possibly just news, about a ship coming with 4.6 is the gold standard Aurora. Is there any different ships coming? Oh, the Hermes. We talked about both of these.
Hermes. So they literally teased it in a like a weekly. Yeah, it's coming out. It's the Hermes.
I don't have them here, but there were 2 sneak peeks. They very Apollo looking. One is the cargo room of the old Apollo with different lighting and stuff. The second one, which means it's the same ship, the second one is a tractor beam that points to the back of the Apollo Hermes. So it shows that it's a cargo variant because of the tractor beam. And then I think what was the cargo rooms in the Apollo will be data running. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, that's the highest contender at the moment. But again, it can come with a cargo, and the data running doesn't work for now, by the way. Oh, yeah. It
could easily just be an additional later. Yeah. Apparently, I was right when saying Renamon. It's like I can recognize a Digimon fan.
It's a Digimon. Well, that's why I didn't know. Yeah. Pokemon was like 5 years before my time, and my younger brother Digimon was into that. The same time. Yeah, you got the wrong brother in that one. You want the other one. I was more like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, and then he went into Pokemon. So yeah.
Ray Moyne. Okay, so it's a little different.
I'm just calling him Donnie.
Donnie.
Yeah, Donnie it's asks, so much easier.
Will Squadron 42 pledge owners be asked to spend a sum for Squadron 42? No. If you have Squadron 42 in your hangar or in your account, you will not have to spend additional money to get Squadron 42.
I think you might be able to upgrade it to another edition too. And my hope also is if they offer it on other platforms that you can also somehow get it on other platforms.
Yeah,
that would be my hope.
I think it would be a cool idea if CIG offered free codes for other platforms like Epic and Steam. I think that would be a good move for them to like. Well, when our loyal fans,
maybe you reclaim it somehow, and you either reclaim it on RSI. Theme or Epic or whatever if you want to reclaim it. That's how I would do it. And so once you've picked one, that's where you are. You know, as long as the accounts are transferable. So like say I unlock a ship in say I'm on Epic and I unlock a ship on Epic, then it carries over into the persistent universe when it goes back to RSI. As long as there's no mismatch shit. Yeah. Because I've had other games in the past.
Background information. Yeah.
Like the game I'm going to call out is Chivalry 2. They promised that the DLC you buy on Epic and where you're up to in the game would carry over to Steam. And then they backpedaled 2 years later after everyone had bought it on Steam and said, we're not doing that anymore. I was so annoyed because I'd brought DLC, I'd played the shit out of the game, and then all of a sudden I couldn't play it on Steam with all my friends that had brought it when it came out, and I was really annoyed. So they lost me completely with that game. Anyway, Donnie, is that the last one? Oh no, MT and a bunch of numbers says, we'll actually ever see the following from the original Kickstarter sales, deluxe Grand Collector's Box and U-shaped drink. Yeah, we actually talked about this the other week. That is the epitome of why there needs to be physical versions, because they promised them during Kickstarter and other periods of time. So that's how we know that they've got to physicalize versions at some point. And they'll probably sell them only on the RSI website, and they're delivered to your home, because again, it's too much to distribute them to say something like EB Games, or what you guys call it, GameStop or Game in the UK. Yeah. That's just too, distribution is too high. But if you want it, you can pay extra on the RSI website and they'll just ship it to your house. I think that's what'll happen. And then we do the last one, which is also from Donnie, who says time stat for awful color combinations. Yes. It is definitely criminal behavior. What's this that you've linked, Paul?
Yes. Oh, someone asked if they could see the sneak peek for
this week.
For the Hermes, and I put it up there because that's the one everyone was like, the Gray Cat, and it's like, it's Gray Cat.
Have you got the one from the week before as well, Paul? I'll bring them both up.
I don't. But yeah, I didn't know there was two.
Yeah, there is two. Oh, this one's tiny, Paul. Hang on, give me a second. I'll open my email. If you get a ding, it's me.
Let me see.
Is it Star
James asked.
Oh, I hit that key. Did you get muted again? I think I muted you again. I did mute you again. God damn it, that key is so annoying.
No, I'm looking through. Says JM apparently had a question we may have not asked, but I don't see a JM.
weekly updates. That was this week. That was last week. Come on, load. Right, so if I open that and then I go across to there, you guys can see that one, and I'll go open the week before.
Yeah. I'm looking through JM. I don't. You may have not asked the question. It didn't pick it up. I see Jason, but we already answered that one. What was your question, JM? We'll answer it real quick.
And there's that one. Right. So this was the first one. So you can see that was in the Apollo, but it's got completely different lighting. These modules here, Paul, it's below where they're kind of capped off. So you just literally take the caps off and you'll be able to put data modules on there. And there's literally 5 of them there, so you can kind of see them. Here you can see clearly a tractor beam. This is the back of the Apollo, slightly different floor. Like, for example, the glass walls where the med beds would be have been taken out. And so now, and you can also see the ground has changed a little bit, almost like it's more cargo plate. So that they can be locked in. And again, it's the first ship we've seen with a tractor beam rail on the inside. Very interesting.
So the question that JM Corp had was, do you have a guess of when they will change the price of haulers like the Hull A? Did they already do so?
Yeah, they've already done so. Oh, I think it means, well, the next time they're sold. Because they said this is the last time you'll be able to get them at this price. So the very next time they sell them,
it'll be at the higher price. Sometimes that'll be for buyback for concierge. Sometimes it'll be concierge sales. Sometimes it'll be an actual sale.
Being a cargo ship, it could literally be when the mission event for 4.6 drops. It could be, as an example, right? Like the raft will probably be the first contender because there's a raft skin there. They're very much, I'm pretty sure, going to take the opportunity to sell the raft. I think the raft might be the first one we see. But then again, the Hull A and the Raelian and stuff like that. The Raelian will probably be where the Raelian comes out at, most likely Alien Week, if it comes out at Alien Week. And Hull B would be when the B releases, or if it's sold before then. But I think the Hull B is probably going to be IAE. I think it's
it's a little farther away.
Yeah,
it's not soon enough. We haven't heard enough about it, and it still seems like it's still getting out of concept. We'll probably hear about it at Invictus, but
Yeah. All right. Well, I haven't heard from Mother Dearest. Is that all the questions?
That's all the questions.
Okay.
I mean, the only one I saw was BMT, who asks, "Will we ever see the following from the original Kickstarter sales? Deluxe green collector's box spaceship shaped.
We did that one.
USDC,
Yeah, we did that one.
You'll see all of them, but when they get them done, they're gonna have to. My guess is they'll have to find a distributor, and I think X and I both know a distributor who they talked to. At least according to some leaks, which we do not want to say because we do not have confirmation on any of them, and we don't want to be the reasons why they fall through, why the negotiations fall through, if they have happened at all. But this was years ago. All I can say is that it is a very well-known and loved distributor, and they don't just make games, but they do make games. So,
all right, Paul, is there anyone on the Twitch or any that you would like to raid? I don't really notice anyone there besides Cobra or Veridity, but I'd like to try and raid someone a little smaller. Todd Fox, we could raid Todd Fox. I know Todd Fox.
Possibly. Let me look at Star Citizens. So I know Archie the Vixen. She's new-ish.
And she. Oh, this one here. Oh yeah, I saw you raid her a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we can raid her.
Yeah, she's cool.
She says be right back. She's not even there.
Oh no, is she not there? Raid her while she's not there. She's back. All
right, sounds like she's back. All right, we'll give her a raid. All right, what do we want to ask her, Paul, when we get over there? We always ask people to ask you things when we raid you, by the way. Who's your favorite Australian content creator? She'll have no clue who we are. It'd be great.
Ask her what her favorite ship is. Just ask her what her favorite ship is. What's her favorite ship? And she has to pick one specific. Very specific.
And then ask her who her favorite Australian content creator is for Star Citizen.
Yes.
And just watch her fumble over that one and get it all wrong.
Yeah.
It'll be funny. And I love how diplomatic you were when we got them to ask you that. And you just went the only other one that kind of existed. It was kind of funny. And I was like, Farisol. Yeah. And I was like, fuck you, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I knew we were going to say X.
Yeah.
Know that. I'm
No, I didn't want you to say me. I wanted you to say Hangar because then it'll be awkward next time. Because then it'll have more ammo to throw at you when you came on. But you just completely... I was going to say
Algrid, but it blanked in my head. And I was just like,
no.
I got to do this. I got to be on the spot.
Even worse.
I got to be on the spot. Yeah.
Good.
Because my thought was Old Man Al, but Old Man Al Hurston isn't Australian. He's Hurston. So like,
so clip that, and we'll send it to Algrid. All right, I'll start the raid here. All right, so
she's apparently, she isn't live on YouTube though, so that's the only problem. So
no, so only Twitch will go over. We don't often raid people on YouTube. Because there's just never anyone there to raid.
It's just a pain in the butt too, yeah.
Well, they've added that thing now where you can go into the settings and don't have to. You can let anyone.
Which I set.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Because it was like so annoying. They obviously had complaints about it anyway. All right, so Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch. We'll be watching. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye
bye. And they're gone. All right, let's have a listen in and see what Vixen is doing. I think I. All right, here we go.
Raiders detected.
10 o'clock.
Welcome and enjoy your stay.
Hey. Oh my goodness, Astropub, how you doing? Inforunners, welcome in everybody. Welcome in. Holy macaronis. How's it going? How is the stuff? How is the discussion? Tell me. Oh, your loots belong to us? Oh, okay. Are you okay with a payment of rocks? Because I like rocks here, okay? You want some Paymaline? You want some Dolovine? What you want? I don't know about that Quantanium, though. We'll fight about that.
Appreciate it.
She sounds a little hyperactive. Is that the vibe?
She is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just the vibe.
Ooh, hold on a second. I have to read. Is your favorite? I don't know, Info. I don't know. Talking about the Aurora. Oh, the new updates to it. Yeah, because it's in the PTU, correct? It's in the PTU for the gold standard.
How does she do the stickers? Are they like?
The PTU, because I've been quite busy making emotes.
So people can put the stickers on her.
Yeah, but like, how does she do that live? That's kind of crazy. I saw a video the other day of where this stuff is going, and there was a girl in she must have had a suit on. Like a mocap suit, and she was in a chair and she was showing it off to the stream, and someone said, "Yeah, this isn't real. Spin in your chair," and she's
spinning
like some legs, and the whole character spins around the chair, and it's like, what the hell? It was so good.
I saw the preview for it. They made it an actual model, and they've tracked it with it. So yeah, no, I've seen that. Yeah, there's lots of technology. The VTubing is big.
Yeah. But yeah, and it allows a lot of people that a bit self-conscious, like not everyone can get on camera and be as handsome as me and you, Paul. So there's some like it also I've heard of people that have like missing limbs and stuff like that, and they're really self-conscious and stuff like that. So they do it on as a VTuber. I got no problem with that at all. And it also
funny.
Get some interesting characters too, don't you? Like
you
can be a dragon.
Verity's doing a lot of VTubing now too, and it's funny that now that we've raided into Arc, it's 2 VTubers at the top of Star Citizen right now.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right,
that's great.
Where can people find you on the interwebs, Paul?
Twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropub live, twitch.tv or youtube.com/theastrohistorian, and of course, youtube.com/@thecaptainstable podcast.
Yep. And you'll see me and many other people there as well from time to time. All right, with that then, don't forget to like. Button's not working again. God damn thing.
No, I hate that.
No, every time there's an update. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell to everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. With that then, he's been Paul or Astropub.
He has maybe been Execute? I don't know.
See you, citizens. I didn't know what to say there. You just lost